in the creation, the building, and then the releasing and the sharing of something. So it could be, I could channel a new program, or Source and the angelic could drop in and they give me a vision of something I've never done before. And I feel all this excitement, all this expansion in my being. And I go, that's it. That's how I always know where the next flow of money is coming from. It's through my excitement, not through being fixated on the amount. Well, I want to make this specific amount. You see, when you do that, you're engaging with the mind. Okay. And the mind can only base its opinions and thoughts on what you've already experienced. But your heart, your joy, your excitement, your spirit has access to dormant potentials, possibilities, potentialities you've never experienced. And that usually comes with more money. See, if I've never experienced it, I've never done it, or I haven't done it in this way. So I haven't been this version of myself. To have access to that, I have to be engaging with the heart chakra, which is that multi-dimensional field. And then as I'm expanding into that new self, that new version that has another level of creativity or genius, simultaneously it's connected to a new stream of wealth, a new stream of money. So I need you to repeat after me. I am a limitless being. I am infinitely wealthy. I am always available to receive money from the universe. I am in a constant state of prosperity. I am a divine co-creator with the energy and the spirit of money. We want to talk about the importance of New Earth leaders and builders being in agreement with wealth. The distribution and the allocation of wealth and power on this planet is shifting and changing. And the wealth needs to be in the hands of those who are stewards of higher consciousness. So you making peace with money begins with accepting that humanity has chosen money to be a part of the game for the evolutionary experiment. That's all you need to know about it. It's a part of humanity's evolution. And when it's appropriate for another system, it will be born. But for now, you have to make peace with the current system. And as you make peace with the current system, allow yourself to release the resistance to having more money. Because you, dear soul, dear light worker, when wealth is in your hands, you will impact many. If you are in a constant state of survival, you cannot operate in your higher faculties. You cannot be a holder of higher dimensional awareness, or you will be bouncing between the two, like I know many of you are experiencing. You're saying, okay, I've awakened. I feel more joy and love and inner peace. But on this topic of money, it's like I just can't figure it out. And that creates fear, that creates frustration, that creates anger, that creates an illusion of limitation, resentment. We're allowing ourselves as the new earth leaders and builders to accept and agree with the divine assignment that we will become the new stewards of wealth on the planet, and we will do good. If you know you will do good, and I know you will do good because this message is reaching you right now, then you don't have to resist it. And most importantly, the angelic are bringing through, you don't have to continue to be a victim of the collective planetary karma. What do we mean by that? We all incarnated into certain families, and those families could be carrying imprints of poverty consciousness and lack and suffering and pain and proving. And so you inherited this in your DNA. But as you awaken and the DNA crystallizes, you get access to a new possibility. But you may be feeling an attachment to the old story. As the new earth builder and way shower, you want to begin to separate yourself from the collective planetary story and karma, meaning all of the wars, all of the enslavement, all of the pain. It's no longer yours to carry. You were born into it, you inherited it, but only to transform it back into pure light, pure universal intelligence. It's not your story any longer if you don't choose for it to be.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Thank you for chiming in. Today is Jupiter Day, which is Thursdays, and this is when we talk about expansion, right? Because we have to be using the energy of the planets. And my name is Atari Elohim. I am an Akashic channel, and I am on the Guardian Alliance. And Brother Orisha invited me to this show with Young Elder and Hawkeye. And we're going to get into it because we have to really start to frame our mindset. It's only 3 years, okay? It's only 3 years, and we have a lot to do as a community, right? There's a lot of distractions going on, and I'm going to also go into the alignments, the Barbalt's basket, the 4444, which happened this past Sunday, which was also aligned to the Stargate, like Titicaca, which is part of one of my Stargates that I work through. And then we'll go ahead and go shortly into a quick covering over the Guardian Alliance, your actual Akashic gifts that come online once you activate your 12-strand DNA. And then we're going to go into some ceremonies and what others do, what we do when we actually are attuned to our gifts, and we're going to get into it. So one of the first things, there go my brothers right there. Hi, Young.
What's going on? Drive out to the family.
Ashe, Orisha, you want to come online real quick?
Peace and blessings. What's going on with you?
Peace and blessings.
Peace to the tribe. I like the topic. I like how you started us off with. That was some real strong information, and she worded it so eloquently.
Yes, yes. So, Erin is also an Akashic guide. She is an oracle. She is amazing. If you don't follow her, you should definitely follow Erin Lyons. She's a lion like me. We love our lion energy. And what I'm gonna get into today, and I think we're in Leo now, right? So we're in Leo right now. One of the first things when it comes to this wealth situation and the distortion that our community is fighting through is that we have to, the goals got to get set higher, okay? People's goals are not set high enough. You want to call in your millions. Y'all, we deserve to be wealthy. All of our trauma, we do, through all of the trauma that we have gone through, it don't make no sense for us to continue to be living in poverty. However, you have to activate the wealth. And this goes into, which I'm going to go into a little bit later, but how we know there's so many people in our communities with suffering businesses. You know why? They wasn't in alignment. You got to run your shit through source. And through that, you actually have to become anchored in your oversoul, right? You want to become anchored in your oversoul, and you want to put, okay, am I doing this right? You got to run everything through you and your spirit guides, because we've suffered way, way, way too much in the business community. And in 3 years, when we get ready to wake up and poof, the 3D is gone, we got to know what the fuck to do, right? This is the thing, though. I just need everybody to just anchor in. 3 years is not that long, right? 3 years is not that long. When the 3D is finally taken out because of solar flash. Oh, which leads me to go back to this week, y'all, because today is the 23rd. And Anunnaki Elder Sandalphon, which you need to watch Young's tape on, that's one of my Anunnaki elders. He's number 23, and my family name is Sanders, right? So I have a special connection to him. And everybody coming in right now. So see, as soon as I start talking about them, all of their energy starts chiming in. We need to cover the distortion, because our community is suffering because they cannot clear the distortion of being in poverty, right? We know that we deserve our wealth. We want the wealth, but you're not doing the training. You're not looking at building the systems. You got to look at this is what AI is for. Right now, this is what AI is for. AI is to help us work smarter, not harder. Run your business plan through the AI. You feel me? It's going to give you all the steps. But you need to actually be attuned to the higher frequency and have your 12 strands of DNA turned on so you can bend your reality with ease and manifest with ease, because our community has suffered way too much when it comes to businesses. And in order for us to stand up entire communities in 3 years, motherfuckers' business skills got to be on deck, okay? We know there's so many low vibrational situations that happen with good people that you want to do business with that look like us, but they business skills, don't be up to par. So then you don't want to mess with them no more because their business is messed up. But we need to anchor in the higher dimensional energy in the businesses, because we literally are starting from scratch. And one of the things that I want to go into is the illusion of you have all this time. You ain't got all this time. You need to anchor in and drop your oversoul energy into activate your 12-strand DNA by before 2030. Because honestly, I believe that the solar flash is going to become 2030 because the 3D field is so distorted and we're so tired and mentally exhausted of dealing with the bullshit, right? So you don't have all this time. You need to activate your DNA. Number two, we already know that 60% of the population is not going to ascend. So when we wake up after the solar flash, y'all, we're going to look around. It's going to be a real empty, okay? It's going to be real empty. And we have to know what to do. We have to know what to do. And I'm going to tell you, as Queen Khalifa, I know exactly what I have to go do. California is going to be okay. I know who to go to turn my water back on, who works at the dams and knows how to control all the water movement. I got my plugs at the PG&E and the SMUD and all the electricity spots. California going to be okay. You feel me? I know what to do.
Real
So
quick,
this is the energy that I need the women and the matriarchs to anchor, because we are the resources. We're connected to the land. We're the people wherever you're located, the people who are supposed to help you turn those natural resources on, they need to be vibrating into your field. But you can't do that if you don't have your 12 strand DNA on, because you have to be fully in tune with Mother Nature.
I say, real quick, I want you to break down these slides that you brought on so we understand what's going on. Can you
Yes.
yeah,
So
break down the
this
slides.
is going to go perfectly into your gifts, right? Because your gifts come on first, right? First, your gifts come on, right? You anchor the light, you get into your oversoul. I mean, and you have little breadcrumbs. You start to figure things out, and make sure that you guys, I'm trying to tell you, keep frequencies on you, keep the crystals on you, because as you're anchoring these gifts, you get tested. Okay. I ran two lower angelic. I got, but didn't get got. It was in alignment to what I was supposed to attune to. I encountered two cults. I have to go to them. And this is how spirit will test you, right? You're going to get put in situations with demonic entities. Okay? You're going to get in situations, and this is the test. You got to figure out what the fuck is going on. I had to figure, I said, oh shit, y'all, I think something is going on. And I did my little checks, and I was like, yeah, I got to go. But you will get some of the situations is because you have to turn on your intuition. And we're the Anunnaki, right? We're the police of the galaxy. So
That's what
you're
the
going
slide
to
say?
encounter, huh?
That's what the slide saying?
Yes. Watch. So your gifts are going to turn on. And this is the proof of my gifts, right? Because on 7/19, when it was the energy of my Stargate, Lake Titicaca, that was also Barbal's basket, right? So during that day, I did an activation. I did an activation. I did a childhood ancestral DNA activation at an R&B party. Okay. As soon as I did the activation, and there was dragonflies everywhere to help me, to assist, right? To help me assist to anchor in that energy, because no one else around me has my energy. So I'm doing a root chakra cleanse for the people that were around me, which is where this party is at, this picture. And then as soon as that happened, spirit was like, you have a sprite. And I don't know if you know what a sprite is. A sprite is basically lightning energy. And that's the little purple sprite that's up there. And I know that the color of my dragon is this. Allura is my dragon. So, and if the man's page has no purple sprites, he only has red sprites, but I follow them because my dragon is a lightning dragon. So, and I can manipulate the weather. So as soon as they told me you had a sprite, I seen the girl with purple hair. I go on Instagram, I'm scrolling, I said, boom, there go my dragon. And if you look at it, it looks just like dragon wings.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
No, because we got a couple more guests, and I
Yeah.
like the point you were breaking about being the 444, and I really want to get into that. So I was trying to, or we going to come back to these slides because I want to bring everybody
Yeah.
else in.
So I'm not going to go into the DNA upgrades, but there's one thing that I do want to address if you go to the next slide. So a lot of you follow the Masonic tree of life, and this is something that has to be addressed because this Masonic 10 strand tree of life that a lot of people are into, it's distorted because it's 12 strand DNA. And this is how the distortion came through, right? With the base 10. The base 10 is inaccurate. You have 12 12 strands of DNA that have to activate. And this is covers, as you can see, the 10 doesn't cover all of the light fields. The 12 does, because the top part is the antiparticle, which turns on the cosmic DNA. You go to the next slide. And this is just an example of how your DNA how it overlaps and creates mini Merkabas, right? You have the electric side, and then you got the magnetic side, and then it folds together and it creates a little Merkaba. Next slide.
Sure. The Emerald Sun. Can you go back to the last one? The
So
emerald
this is
strand, 48 strand DNA matrix.
you could have either 12 strands, 24 strands, 36 strands, and 48 strands is the most that you'll have while on Earth. That's when you get to your Ethereum energy, like how I have with my dragon.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
And so this is just part of, these are the gifts that turn on. So we have the quantum jumpers, which is, I don't know, sis, you want to play that short video? In the middle? If not, that's okay. So there's about 6 gifts that are very prevalent for the celestial guardians that we have, right? So you have the quantum jumpers, which is basically the time
Officially
lords.
merged the U.S. military with the Israeli military.
Not that one. Not that one.
It's okay. I'll just run through it real quick. You have the quantum jumpers and the time lords. Those are the ones who are able to shift timelines and create timelines and bend space and time. Then you have the light warriors, who are the ones who basically fight spiritual warriors, who are the spiritual warriors. They fight on behalf of humanity. You have the grid workers, who basically are the ones who are connected to the grid, connected to the dragon lineage, which goes into what Hawkeye does. And then you have the elemental alchemists, which basically they're the ones who have the avatar abilities, right? Then you have the energy healers, who we should all be energy healers. Everybody needs to activate their energy healing. We're all supposed to have that Yeshua touch, right? That's supposed to be activated in all of us. That's how strong our energy fields need to actually be. And then you have celestial guides, who basically they extend beyond the earthly realm. They're connected to the angelic realm. That's something that I do. And spirit guides, you become spirit guides for your family. Actually, when you actually get to this energy, you know who in your family you're supposed to touch and who you're supposed to activate. And then we also have the soul retrievers. That's part of my gift also. The soul retrievers, I help entrap spirits. They can be here or they can be already ascended. They sometimes they get trapped here, and I know, and I have to release their energy and send it up. Trust me, being a soul retriever is crazy, because literally, like, I have visions of people in cages, and their soul is literally trapped, and we have to go pull them out and transmute them with the highest divine white light and send them onto the angelic realm. So these are just part of all the gifts. I posted this on Young Elders page with just the reading, and then also too, if you want further information, you want to see them bigger and look into them, I posted it on my Instagram, and Orisha and Young Elder is tagged.
I see. I want to go back to that 444 thing before we, you know what I'm saying, I'm done with Pastor Young. First off, Young Elder, no, I'm putting back on the screen. I'm talking about, yeah.
The Barbox basket.
Yeah, that part right there. I got Hawkeye in. Hold on one second.
Peace. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Got you.
Good job.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please, God. Yo, first off, we Young Elder. Let me introduce everybody and go around the room, because she was breaking down something for us. And I know you're going to touch on that, because a lot of stuff she's talking about might go over a lot of people's heads, but on simple terms, on layman's terms, just doing grid work and everything else, you just actually came down here and did some grid work recently. But before we get started, Young Elder, you know what I'm saying? What's good with you?
Oh yeah, man. Everything cracking over here, man. I'm listening in. We
Man,
cracking it up.
I brought her because I know she's always going to the interdimensional thing. We don't talk about that enough, honestly. And we try to shy away from it, things that we don't understand. Mm-hmm. But this is talking about, when we talk about realms and different dimensions, things like that. I've seen her and her team, they get deep with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm always looking for different kind of information and realm hopping myself. On some Cain the Conqueror thing, you got to understand all these different dimensions and realms. So I brought her. You always talking about the Anunnaki aspect of it. She was talking about 444, and that stood out to me because I got a piece of stone that's 44.4 grams. And then Hawkeye, he just came down here. The time she said that activation portal was open, Hawkeye was down here just recently doing a ceremony. So now, my apologies. Back to you, Hawkeye. Tell us about yourself and tell us what's going on, Chief.
Oh man, I'm Hawkeye. You know, I'm hailing out of Texas now. I think some of the group may know a little bit about my background, but I'm just happy that we could be on time with the ceremony and get down to your way, and was definitely happy that you could provide me with all the information and the experience that I needed at this particular time. To do some of the things that Atari has been talking about, the activation, the manifesting, the acquisition or the amplification of our spiritual gifts. So there's a lot coming through at this particular time in reference to you mentioned 444, but it's it's actually 4 planets. So it's 4444 times 4 planets and 4 degrees in their zodiac houses. So it is a very strong alignment time that we're just recently coming out of. But as you mentioned, when I was down there doing the ceremony with you, that was the beginning of that time frame. So we're in a highly spiritual activation moment, in portals. So it's a very, very, very important time. If you would just lead into give me a description of the mounds that we were at, because of course that's your territory. Just tell us about that, and then we can walk into exactly what occurred during the ceremony.
So those are the love worth rounds. It's in Turkey Scratch. The largest mound in Florida is in Turkey Scratch. The largest one in Tallahassee is where fam you was on. But I took you to the Indian Trail up the mound of the Timucua. So they put a whole description down there when we took a picture, and you saw all those. They were saying that this mound is as old as everything else that they were describing on there. So yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to go into my experience this particular time?
I mean, you look, you talking about grid work and everything else. There, even though you were going through your experience, my wife and I, we were watching, and we see things too. We seen how the trees is moving. You gotta realize we're above the treetop now. So we see what's walking on top of the treetop. So that's amazing within itself, especially when you was on the medicine, everybody else wasn't. So when we all see the same things, that's why I'm trying to get into things we might not want to always have those conversations about, but we all saw the same thing. She's talking about the dragon energy and everything else. We talking about ley lines, and let's talk about it. And respect to the mindset, respect to the mindset, respect to the mindset. If we're gonna talk about that dragon energy, let's talk about the dragon energy with respect. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. Like you go in with your plant medicine, you go down the trails, we talking about doing the work, you go down the Indian Trail in the middle of nowhere with over 300 miles. You walked up how was that walk? Was the walk easy up that mountain?
It was a little steep climb, but I was definitely motivated to make it. It was a little bit of thicket, but nothing that was gonna, prohibit me from making that climb to the top of the mound. So it was a wondrous climb. Let me go back if I could, and I really want to start from the beginning, which talks about my entire experience. First, I was able to spend several nights among the serpents. I slept among serpents and artifacts to lead up to the ceremony. So it was very, very still and reflective during that time before we even started this journey. I was sleeping with 13 serpents around artifacts that Orisha Stone, he has just, you think you've seen something that he's shown online. The man has everything and more of, what he has shown. He has a powerful museum there. So I was lucky to be surrounded by all these energies at this particular time to start out with. Now, as that day came, and we prepared, his lovely wife, Abiki, she prepared the plant medicines and everything for us. As we were traveling to the mounds to prepare, I began taking some of the mushroom medicine to start the journey. As we approached the mounds and began to climb the actual mound, we had offerings, for the ancestors. And before the ceremony really started, as we started to put out the offerings, as Arisha Stone said, there was a clear presence of ancestral spirit. As I looked up, you could see the trees split open from the presence of the spirit. It wasn't your regular wind. This is not something that was just a continuous breeze and the wind was blowing at a particular time. You know, this was an obvious gust of wind that split the trees apart. And as Arisha Stone mentioned, I was on the medicine, and those who were not witnessed the same thing. These are very things that are actually real. So as I started, that one in and of itself was just an amazing start to witness that. And that was just at the beginning of when I started to really go in with the medicine. Everything at that particular time, the colors of the surroundings. Now we were surrounded by some cover. There was, lots of plants around us, trees, and the plants that happened to be right in front of my face. You know how the cameras now today have the zoom where the foreground, what's in front of you, will be very sharp and clear, like right in front of your face, but the background is hazy. That's exactly how these leaves in front of my face began to look, and everything started to dissipate into another dimension, into another reality. So it slowly came in this regard, and as I went in further, that feeling of, how you have a natural feeling of when you have some medicine, and your body has a natural instinct to maybe fight that feeling of going totally under. At that particular time, when I had that instinct, I felt the power of the Great Mother.
I see.
Told me to sit down, and I had to submit, and I submitted. This is a. I'm sorry.
I don't mean to cut your wisdom. Check the private message one real quick, and then keep going.
Okay. Yeah, I have my screen on.
No. You good? You good? Just check the private message, and then and it's back at you, guy.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And where was I at? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Great Mother, the Great Mother.
Yes, and that's when I realized that I had to submit, because this is an actual travel to a different dimension and realm, and it's all mental. You can't hang on to your physical body
At all.
Oh man! And once I submit, I went totally into a different realm, totally into the realm. And the Great Mother was there. I felt the strength and the power of the Great Mother. Now, I don't want anyone. There was no. When I say strength and power, it's not a fearful type of strength and power. It's a more of a collective show of being a part of that strength and great power. As I went in, I felt, and what I had envisioned at that time was the feeling of a blue, deep, dark blue crystal on my shoulder, right as I submitted, toward my back. And that moved eventually, very shortly, and it was right under my chin. And I could just envision the corner of this big, huge crystal right next to me, which felt so huge. It felt like an infinite. The size of it was infinite. Imagine looking at over the horizon of the vast ocean and the deep, dark blue. That's how it felt. Like this size crystal was so infinite, you couldn't even imagine the end of it. And so I felt that power of the mother right there, sitting right there. As I was resting, going through my experience, being a part of that power and feeling that power, I felt something above me. There was not actually felt, but saw what was like a diamond shaped source that a light was coming from, not shining down on me, but you know how you could, the light was behind the diamond shape, like, and the light was up on the, like I, for lack of a better word, ceiling, right? So I could see, and it's like I was being, I was really being examined. You know, it was like it was looking up and down my back, and so I felt like, even though I had laid down, I had felt myself like I was sitting up but leaning forward, and this light was just going up and down, examining my DNA. And I think Arisha Stone can attest to the fact that I was saying, examine me, and blue crystal, I kept saying these things. Thank you, the great mother, you know.
Don't leave it out. The best words you use to activate that portal was, I submit. When you said, I submit, and that's when it activated it. Like, that's and the boom. Thing. Everybody that was in attendance, we all bear witness. And like he said, they always say, I'm a Skywalker, right? So we at the top, we see all the trees. We see the top of the trees. We at the top of the pyramid.
Right.
All the trees in a line, it was something walking amongst the trees, got above us, spun around us, and then right then, he kind of like went into his trance. And it was right above us the whole time. Me and none of the witnesses was on medicine.
Right.
Hey, that was your DNA upgrade for sure. That's exactly what it was. And because the diamonds, the first step, the 12 strand is the double diamond DNA.
I'll tell you.
Okay, well, wow. You see that? Yeah.
When you on these plant medicines, exactly what you just said, DNA activation. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. We look, we talk about crystals all day. My favorite crystal, DMC. You know what I'm saying? So with that, it's like when we start tapping into that, now you pretty much cleanse your mind of all the extra shit. You went to the overmind and saw what was reality and what wasn't reality.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You can now you've been into the mothership. You understand that this right here is a spaceship within itself. You want to time travel? This way you time travel in a dimension.
So this is just the beginning, because you're gonna want your multidimensional energy is gonna start to anchor, right? So everything that you experience, I experience this shit every day.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
This is my life every day.
Yeah.
I'm in that energy. So it's gonna start to turn on. And you're gonna your third eye gonna be going crazy. When I'm like this, my shit be just throbbing in my third eye, because you literally see like that all the time.
Yeah.
Look, and then by y'all being in different places, like she was saying, being us in different kind of ley lines. She's in California. She's right there by Mount Shasta. You were right there in the southeast pyramid. You were right there on top of the southeast pyramid.
Yeah, I put it in the chat. Remember, Orisha, when you called me and I was like, you told me what happened. I said, oh, well, that's what broke the it didn't break, but that's what it didn't break. Let me take that back, because I have to watch my words, because my shit be transmuting real quick. And I'm connected to the earth, so it has to be said in the correct energy, right? So I talked to Arisha earlier that day, because that was before I was gonna go do my grid work, which is where I activated the 209, right? And I have an entanglement with Andre Barbault, who is the man. He was, the years that he died in was 2 9s.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Right.
So when Arisha called me and told me what you guys did, I said, you guys triggered the earthquake in Mexico. Because that's the snake energy. That's the golden dragon energy. And literally, that's y'all energy. You guys triggered that shit. I knew it. As soon as he told me, I said, all right, that was you guys.
Wow.
Because of his strong connection to the Olmec energy, right? Mexico is still Turtle Island, right? Like, that's literally, we have receipts of like our names and our energy over there. Like Najaro, baby, his name. I barely figured. He just told me his first name. His first name is Cortez. I was like, you mean like the Sea of Cortez? And then I was able to pinpoint where his energy is in Mexico. That was y'all energy who triggered the earthquake that day.
Okay, well that makes sense.
I know it is.
Well, that makes sense that you bring up, the serpents and dragon energy, because that's exactly what we were doing.
Arisha,
and I was there.
I tried to tell Arisha right now. He is going to be one of the activating ancestors for this Olmec energy, because I'm in California. I'm around Mexicans every day. Okay?
I hear you.
Nobody knows the Olmec energy. They don't even know.
Well, yeah, he definitely. Now let me say this and get back to my story. He
Y'all got
definitely
it.
brought.
Y'all did that
He
shit.
definitely he definitely brought that energy through. Everything you just said about him, that is him. That is him. So we were definitely in that energy. So that totally makes sense. That totally makes sense. Now I think where I left off was I was at the moment where the examination of the diamond shape and the light, and uh after that particular part, this is also, I have to finish this because this is also just one of the the best experiences. And if you have this all the time every day, you know what I'm saying, I have to put in some work because yeah, this is the real, this
No,
is the
no.
reality.
Well, I'll say this: a woman on plant medicine is different from a man on plant medicine. A
I
woman can
understand.
stay on plant medicine all day and be in la la land, whatever, right? But
Yeah.
and after you finish your problem, pass it to Young, because Young can attest to Akhenaten. Akhenaten would always stay in that world, and he destroyed his own empire, because you got to be balanced. We got to be 5% spiritual and 4% physical. But go ahead though.
Right. Well, after the examination from the diamond shape light with the backlight behind it, and I was coming back into the 3D. Um, I when I started to get up, because I was laying down on my side. Now, when I started to get up on my hands and knees and open my eyes, oh, you talking about, and I'll just use the term seeing the matrix. Uh, I saw I was in the cosmic egg.
Say that.
I saw, and what it's making, and what it makes me think of now, and maybe it's because it's kind of a hot topic now, but the Higgs boson field that creates matter. It felt like I was in that particular. I could see the web around me of that creation. Oh, and it let me tell you what it looks like. What it looked like to me, my perception. You know, imagine you being in like an oval shaped, egg, and what you can see around you is like this web. The background of the web itself was like a golden brownish golden color. Okay,
Bro, I
and there
gotta
was
tell you, I
and there
know
were
where you
diamond
were.
shapes. There were diamond shaped or star
You were
shaped,
in Mount Meru.
like a four. I'm sorry.
You were in Mount Meru. I'm gonna tell. I got the receipts. I'll send it to you later. You were in Mount Meru. I know where
Do
you
that.
were.
Okay, do
Yes,
that.
I know exactly where you were,
I
because it's a
appreciate that.
replicate of the Higgs boson field. And Mount Meru is an energy generator.
Okay.
It's an ancient energy generator. I'll show y'all later.
Okay. I love it. I love the confirmation because it always comes through. I love it. I love it. But and then in the center of the matrix, like the pattern, it was like like a star, but it was, it was a four-pointed star, like, and then between those four-pointed stars were the lines, going between each of them, right? Now the color was, the background of it was like a golden bronze color, deep golden bronze color, and it was the most vibrant, bright colors you could ever imagine. And between the cords that connected those four-pointed stars, flashes of silver light going back and forth, little dots of blue and green, showing up in it. And you could see the curvature of it around you like you were in the egg as I was waking up, and I'm getting to my knees, and all of a sudden, after I saw that egg, and then I looked up, things went back to that all green, hazy background, and I came back to the 3D, and Aretha Stone was there again. But he was totally gone during experience. I was in a totally different realm, and it was all mental. When they say the universe is all mental, it is all mental. You cannot mix the physical. You cannot go there in your physical, but I was there in the mental.
Yo, and I keep going back to it. You were on the ley line directly to go straight to Kemet within itself.
Right.
That's something, you know what I'm saying? When you do the numbers of it, the ley line goes directly there. So it's like we on an ancient pyramid already.
The Stargate in Florida is in Sarasota.
There's a bunch of them. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of
Okay.
them.
So that's what y'all
Yeah.
was connecting to.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. So yeah.
No,
So that was I'm sorry, go ahead, Arish.
no, I'm about to bring back the young one real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The elders always talk about things of the mind, right? And I'm
Yeah.
bringing it to you because you ain't never did you never did the plant medicine before, huh? Or ceremony.
You're talking about shrooms, right?
Or Shanga or DMT or Toad or whatever.
No,
Shrooms is
I never
cool.
tried it, but I heard a lot of people talk about it. Like one of my teachers used to talk about it all the time, and he used to say, tell me his experience and how he pretty much described similar what Brother Hawkeye was saying about going into these other dimensions. Now, from my experience, some people can do it naturally. Like the sister, she could do it naturally, right? Going
Absolutely.
into those dimensions. But the plant, I'm glad that when he did that, that he had, because Risha is a plant. Like you gotta have, sometimes it's good to have a guide there when you first doing it, so you don't get, because you'll go out, nigga, and you might want to not come back. You know what I'm saying? Your body is just be right there, and you be gone, motherfuckers thinking you dead, and like you really in a whole nother realm. You know what I'm saying? You a lot, because we nearly never die. Technically, we don't.
That's right.
Death is it's a lie. What they telling us to scare us and keep us here. But
Right.
if you really knew what happens when you cross over, a lot of people wouldn't want to come back. Because it's like, oh shit, what's next? Like what else? Like and then you
Totally.
could go. Yep. You
That's
won't
why I
want to
said,
come back. I know some people that didn't come back.
Yeah.
They went and didn't want to come back. They said, "Oh yeah, well he stayed on that side. That's what happened." And on this side, it looked like you died or you passed away. But like
Right.
I say, there's really no such thing as dying. You don't die. We don't die. We
That's
just
right.
pass to the next dimensions or the next realm. Yeah. So
yo,
yeah, that's
boom.
interesting.
That's why I said for a ceremony, everybody say they chiefs, this and that, right? But the
Yeah.
chiefs, they all dealt in this plant medicine. The
That's
high
right.
chiefs, all this, they dealt with that thought. When you talking about
Yeah.
thought is he's the originator of it. When you see him putting
Yeah.
the in the mouth and Anubis putting the unk in the mouth of the pharaoh,
Yeah.
the unk is a representative of the mushroom.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I'm
can
saying?
see that.
So when he said he spent the night with 13 dragons, 13 serpents
Yeah.
in the triple darkness, he did that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And prepped him. We did the whole nine to prep him for this mental transition. When you get in
Yeah.
there, when you say the mind, the everything is mental, we say that and we let that shit go all the way over your head. That means everything go. That means, you know what I'm saying, there is no rules to this shit. Whatever your mind on, whatever you focused on, lock in. You know what I'm saying? You in a whole nother realm of things. Especially someone like yourself, like you just said, the way you described it, you were absolutely right. If you do breath work, like breathing the right way and stopping your breath a certain type of way, you most definitely can trigger DMT in your body. You most definitely can. But with the plants, you can just go there way stronger, way faster.
Yeah.
It just triggers something into you where it purifies your mind from all the waste, the toxic waste,
Mhm.
all the different things. If you've been programmed some kind of way, you might not even realize you've been programmed a certain type of way, right? You don't know why you've been programmed that certain type of way, but it might be something you were watching as a child that programmed you as a man that it set into you like a seed. Now you done went into your mind, found that target, that parasite, snatch that parasite out and upgrade. This is just a vehicle, a car, to say, you know what I'm
That's
saying,
it.
for lack of better words. So you got the right to ask for upgrades. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So hey, got us sorry. I'm about to switch up because got us me out wants to speak a little bit on ceremony too.
And if I can say something before she switches out, just real quick, I just want to confirm what they were saying too about that they had some experiences even without medicine. Now, I've
Yeah.
had some experiences without medicine too as well. But just like you just said, Arisha Stone, the medicine can pop you in. For those who don't do it every day and it's that easy for them to tap in, that'll tap you in real quick.
This took me a year and a half to anchor.
Okay.
For me to get my to the point to where I can transfer and go into the ethers, and it took me a year and a half to anchor this level of light. So
Yeah,
this is not a game. It takes practice,
it does take.
grounding, eating right, restriction of energy, making sure everything you're putting into your energy is positive. Don't change you, but it took work. Okay, this shit takes work. But your spiritual and your mental and healing your brain is more important than a whole lot of shit.
I say, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. And one thing about it, like I say, when it comes to these women, they tap into this nature. You got to realize if you tap into the earth, she taps into her natural state. Her natural form is the earth. So when they tapping into it, like we got to look. I keep bringing it up. Y'all ain't watching House of the Dragon, but every time y'all watch House of the Dragon, every time one of them oracles say something, and they have a dream, or one of them oracles say something, it might sound batshit crazy. That little girl in the castle, I forget her name. She one of the queen of the greens, right? Every time she have a dream or some shit, that shit seems batshit crazy. Nobody listens, and every time they don't listen, they get a pat on their ass. You know what I'm saying? We got to start listening, tapping into these dreams and these oracles. We keep talking about these same things. We got to start tapping into these dreams and these oracles. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we're gonna bring what we were talking about the Big Mama. Let's bring a Big Mama on real quick.
Yes.
Peace, goddess.
Greetings.
Hold on.
Yes. Am I on mute? Can you hear me now?
You good?
You can hear me now. Okay. Yes, greetings. I've been rocking in my seat. I was like, ooh, every time somebody came up. So yes, yeah, give thanks. It's an honor to be here with everyone. Peace, Brother Hawkeye, peace, young elder, and of course, Arisha Stone. It's interesting when he was talking about those 13 serpents, those 13 snakes, going back to the beginning when she was talking about the wealth, right? And you have 13 snakes, right? In the wave spell that you're in the wave spell of the serpent. And you got 13. And a wave spell is 13. And I was thinking about the topic and I said, wow, if I were to identify people who are, not to say everybody is tapped into this energy, just like Goddess Atari was talking about. I love her energy. I love everything she said. But tapping into that, right? If I were to say the archetypes who have that specialty, they're in that wave spell of the serpent, because there's 10 portals in that wave spell, and portals are amplifiers, right? And I think about how Arisha Stone rolls, right? He come in and he just be like boom, 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 and changes things. Everything just changed in all of these different areas, right? I could, speak for what he has done for us in Melanated Immortals. But you have 13 serpents in that way, in the room that Brother Hawkeye was sleeping in, and it's like you have all 13 of the archetypes in your wave spell right there in your house. That's so dope. So dope. That serpent energy, and the serpent energy is life force.
I see.
And so that's what that's what you practice, and it just happens. See, sometimes we may try to do things, but it's really what we do naturally. It's our organic, the way that we operate organically, that comes in. And you don't even know what you're doing. And then somebody will come in and like, Goddess Satari was doing, is giving those confirmations, of things like Brother Hawkeye, what he experienced just automatically or, organically. This is how we roll. And so, our natural energy, and we have all these sayings, purpose is more powerful than problems, right? And so when we surrender to, like you all were talking about earlier, when we surrender just completely to our destiny has already been designed. We don't have to keep trying to do stuff to get stuff. It happens organically, and it's in our true nature. If we operate like it's out, I always say, we just look outside, right? Nature is overabundant. In the fall, it's a bunch of leaves that you don't never get cleaned up. In the spring, it's a bunch of seeds that are all over the place. You know, they're everywhere. You know, in the summer, it's a bunch of fruit that falls. Sometimes, you know, the ants can't eat all the fruit. The squirrels can't eat all the fruit. The birds can't eat all the fruit. They just rotting on the ground because nature is organically abundant. And so are we, and we much more than that. So, you know, anyway, I was just vibing off of the conversation. And then and speaking about the psychedelics, definitely like young elder was talking about, those experiences, there's so many experiences that you have prior to taking the psychedelics. It took me a long time because I was like, what I need that for, right? Because I've been talking to spirits since I woke up, you know, since I was born. They always around me. They used to scare me. You know, I can see them. I've gone through whole stages where in my Yoruba initiations, I could literally see when they were starting to possess Orisha. I could see the thing just come drop down in their crown chakra. I can see it when it leaves, you know, and then even in some you know, past life regressions and all of that stuff, been to, you know, multiple galaxies and all of this stuff. The reason I decided to do the plant medicine was to it took, I'm saying, for me, it removed a filter that I had. I was talking to Brother Hawkeye about this. I had a filter in my level of communication, right? So I had all of these experiences. I have a binders of visions and all of this stuff that I'm hearing now from years ago, right? But I wouldn't speak on it. And the way that I was delivering things, I would hold back. I was a gosh darn it, and, you know, whatever. I never cussed, you know, and, you know, because that's not ladylike and all of that. So there are three different experiences. One is that you know, for people who may not want to do the psychedelics, you can do the dark room for 7 days. You can be in the I've been in darkness for 7 days and 7 nights. The DMT automatically releases, right? And you have some crazy experiences. Priestess Move did it. I put her and another priestess in the dark. You can do it that way. Chanting, you sit there. We used to do these things called we call it a Ka-Min. This is when I was initiating as a Kemetic priestess, and so we did a lot of chanting. And so, you know, the malas, they have 108 beads on them. Do that 10 times, chanting your name, like if you have been given a spiritual name, and you just start chanting your name, and you do it 1,080 times, right? You're gonna be someplace else. There's no way you're gonna be able to chant that long and say those names. Or if you can say, like we used to do. I initiated in the temple of Amun Ra, right? So what we used to do that 1,080 times. But let me tell you what was interesting, because you was talking about the mother energy. The priest that I initiated with, you know, he told us to do 1,080 to Amun Ra. But what I would do, I did 5 to Amun Ra, and then I did 5 to Amit Ra'et. So I balanced it out. I did the male and the female. As soon as I started chanting to Amit Ra'et, boom, I was gone. I was on Ra's boat. I was then in the ancestral realm, and then, you know, into all of these different places. And it happened every time. You know, this was way before plant medicine. When I did the plant medicine, I had a similar experience as Brother Hawkeye. I was in the egg, but I was the womb. I was the mother, and I was the darkness. So I was the triple black. I was all three of them at the same time. And then I could hear this is with the mushrooms, right? So the mushrooms said, look at your body. And, they were talking and they were saying, look at your body, mother, right? And that's what and I looked down and my body was all black with stars in them, the whole cosmos in it. But I was also the darkness. I was also the baby, and I was the mother in it. It was wild. When I came out of it, well, not come out of it, but when I got up, I was laying down, and then when I got up out of it, okay, so those of us, there's some of us who can see the air. Like right now, the air is not clear. They're little things, you can see the little things in there. I know young elder, I know he can see them, right? I can tell, right? So the little things in the air, what happens is they get bigger, right? When you're in the plant medicine. So they got big and they're like these octagonal things, and you can literally see in between the spaces. And so I had to get up and go to the restroom. And the first thing I said, remember, I didn't cuss, right? The first thing I said, because I could see them, they were really big. I said, what the fuck is this shit? And then the sister who was watching me, she was like, oh my God. And she said, what are you talking about? I said, who the fuck did this shit? I didn't do this. What the fuck is this? And my whole, after that, I had a whole, probably about a couple of hours where I was cussing out Tahuti and a few of the other Neteru about this space.
And
you were seeing universes. You were seeing the universes in the microcosm. They like when you get dizzy and you like wake, like when you kind of dizzy, you can see them floating around. But you actually went into the microcosmic and seeing that, hey, those what you were witnessing whole universes. Those what universes. Yeah, that's what it was. Go ahead.
I wanted to say about that mother energy, because no matter who goes in, you see how we all see the same thing. We all communicate now the same way young elder broke that down, how you don't need the medicine to go in, but also there's some people that take the medicine and still don't go nowhere. You got to pay attention.
Well, and you know what? That is true, because they moved me because I was having a different experience. There were probably about 10 or 15 people there, and they were not having the experience I was having. So they moved me to another room and started to record me, because I woke up another level of my art and started talking.
For whatever reason, when Big Mama when she take her avatar, and I've seen this several times, Big Mama take an avatar, and the first thing she do is start cussing motherfuckers out. What y'all down here doing to my babies? God damn it! You crazy? What y'all doing to my babies? Listen. I can't even say. But when I tell you, every single time Big Mama pick an avatar, she come back. She don't. Now, when you in the realm of the non-ethers and the heavens, that's why I kind of be tripping out when people be bugging out on the blackness, right? That's how you know she's telling the truth, because remember, I always said it just sounds confusing. You only talking to yourself. When you go on that plant medicine, you only going within yourself. So everybody you're talking to is your past. Your oldest self is really your youngest self. Your oldest self is your youngest self. Your youngest self is your oldest self. Think about it, because you ain't there yet. You ain't even got there yet. So he's actually your youngest self, but he has the wisdom. So you got the ability to communicate to your past, present, and future, and bring it back right here to the present and utilize this information. Time travel, right?
I say.
She said that herself, and she said, I was the egg. I was the womb. I was the mother. I was the triple blackness.
Yep. That's right. That was it. Yeah. I was all of it.
I'm sorry,
and that was it. I was cussing out the Neteru, and people were like, what? You had Tahuti? And I said, yeah, I got this nigga up here. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck did he do? You know what I'm saying? He fucked this shit up. We said to do this shit. This nigga out here taking selfies and stuff. And I'm talking about the hieroglyphics. I said, this ain't the first time they had hieroglyphics. That shit is on the wall. They weren't supposed to do that. I got on Newt. I said that she wasn't supposed to be bent over like that, showing everybody how to get in and out. You know what I'm saying? I like when you see me on the wall, what do you see? I'm just sitting there with this you know what I'm saying? I might have some wings or some shit, but I wouldn't listen. And so that was the healing that needed to come for the male and the female. You know, Hootie got a little too cocky with the power and stuff. And I said, well, shit, now we got to come down here and fix this shit. And then these other forces, right? These other forces, they did come in, right? And they wanted me to birth something, right? They wanted me to pull the things apart, like young Elder was talking about, looking into the universes and go into that darkness so they could get that code. And I said, nope, I'm not going to do it. And they wanted me to birth something. And it was funny because that is a familiar experience that a lot of women have when they go on the plant medicine. They feel like they're giving birth. And when I looked at it, and I was there, I was like, nah, I'm not going to do not for y'all. No, I'm not. And they're like, what the hell is, who is she? Like, how is she resisting this? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. They kept trying to tell me to do something. There were the time bandits. They were in there. I was like, Kronos was in there. I was cussing him out. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, you won't control time and shit. Not while I'm here. You know, it was crazy.
Yo, I'll say this. Everything's vice versa in the spirit realm, right? And I'm not saying like you don't already go, but we got to get you to a ceremony because this is the only time I say Bobby Hemming gave me some bad information, right? Bobby Hemming said, you go in there. He said, you go in there and you cuss him out. He did not in turn tell us that he was talking to the women. Men go in there. I walked down the valley of vipers. I walked down the valley of vipers. Vipers on this side, vipers on this side. One big viper, pit vipers. You know, in Americans, our serpent isn't the python, it's actually the viper, right?
Okay.
The pit viper right there. So I go in there, I'm trying to command some shit. Oh man, listen, this how we gonna do it. They were like, look around. You blessed to be alive right now. You know what I'm saying? And I just bowed down. I'm like, right. You know what? I was tripping. My apologies. And they were like, they don't talk. One thing about Tahuti, when you go in, but for us, Tahuti never talked, but I understood everything he was saying. Right?
Yeah.
So he said you want it. He pulled back the universe like a page of a book. He pulled back. Did you hear me? He pulled back the universe, page of a book, and it was all blackness. And in the blackness, it was dark matter. And in dark matter was everything. You could see all the little things like his TV screens are moving around. And it was like that's everything. It's a program. That's when you know that's when you know we're in the matrix. It's a program. Like it's a program, and the program goes way further back than with anything we can really just articulate with words, you know what I'm saying? But once you go into that overmind of yourself, young elder boy, you're gonna be cold. You're gonna come back, you're gonna do about 10 videos an hour.
Hey, something else about that is it's also like it's a part of the dream state RAM, right? But it's like it's also play a part into whatever you thinking before you go into the RAM. Like say if you was watching something on TV or whatever happened to you that day or the past week, all that can be crammed into when you go on the psychedelics. This way, based on what I studied on. Yeah.
That's why. Let me tell you how I prepared. I'm gonna tell you how I prepared for it. Yep. Yeah. So I was very resistant to doing it because to this day I've never even smoked weed. Right. I know that sounds funny, right? Never. Right. And again, remember I told you I wasn't, I didn't really partake in anything. And the sister who told me I did it with Baba Kalindi.
Hold on, you know Dr. Kalindi?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she was in Detroit, right?
Oh, somebody's wife.
No, I'm saying I did it with him. Yeah, I did it with Baba Kalindi. Yeah.
You know that?
So, huh?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Nah.
You know Baba Kalindi EE? He was the head of the Black psychedelic organization in Detroit. They have a huge organization up there. Okay, he's passed on now. But he's very well known. He has a lot of videos on it. And it was really the videos that she showed me that he did where he talked about like what Orisha Stone was talking about in the comedic, system, you can see they got the mushrooms right there, right next to, they're right there in the hieroglyphics. I had never seen them before, or never really paid attention, and so he went through the whole thing of, where they come from and what they do. They don't change you. They do not give you superpowers or nothing like that. They just expand. It's just a quickening. It's faster, right? So what I did is, what I teach is never to just like, so if you have a date set out, if you know you're going to do it in 2 months, you don't wait for them 2 months to say, oh, well, I'm going to get on this plant medicine in 2 months and it's going to change everything. No, you decide right when you say you're going to do it, what the effect that you want. What I wanted, when I went in, was to really understand divine will. And so between the time, I think it might have been 6 weeks between the time I decided I was going to do it and when I did it, that I was going to really understand divine will. And so that's what I focused on. Some people call it meditation or whatever, that whole 6 weeks. So when I got there, I didn't make a decision that day, right? I made it 6 weeks prior. And so I said, I'm in here to really learn about divine will and what that really means for me and my purpose. And so once I took it in, I think maybe that's why I had a different experience than most of the other people that were, all of them really, that I was in, because I set a tone prior to going. Because I don't, no, I'm one of those people, I can do it myself. I got everything in me and I'm gonna do it, And so she really convinced me, but it did set me free. It removed a filter that I had. There's no way I would ever get on a YouTube show and start cussing like I was cussing. You know what I'm saying? Never, not before that. No way. It wouldn't have come out my mouth. And then it also just opened up, even to the point where after, the day after, I was talking to one of my friends, because everybody was calling me, because they was like, yo, my aunt is riding her, right? And so people would say that. And, somebody called me and they was like, Hotep Netter, I see you still riding the vessel. I said, nigga, I am the vessel. What the fuck is you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, stop saying that. I am me. You know what I'm saying? You don't tell me I'm something riding me. I did all of that when I did my Yoruba, and I used to, possess Orisha. I've done that. But they come and they go. And I wanted something that stayed. Why I possess my own self, right? I get hyped up. I possess myself. Why I need to call somebody else when I can just be me? You know what I'm saying? And so, it locked that in. Like it kind of locks in where like you said, where your consciousness already is. It gives you a quickening, and then it locks in that space, and you do not move from it. This was 7 years ago. I haven't moved from it, right? And the only other thing that I've done after that is I did do the same thing Brother Hawkeye did. The bufo. Well, I did ayahuasca. I didn't like that as much, but I also did the bufo, and the bufo was interesting because basically I was just having a conversation. Look at you. Right. I was just having a celestial conversation. But what happened in the room, right? Because we were out at this farm, and there was another sister who wanted to do it. It was her first time, but she said, all right, high priestess, you go first, whatever. So I said, all right, whatever. And so as soon as I don't know how to smoke, right? So I took, I said, and then he was like swallowing it. I was like, swallow it? Like, what that mean? And so anyway, I finally figured out how to swallow it. And then I went back and I saw the white and the gold. When I heard Brother Hawkeye talk about that, I said, wait a minute, because I hear a sound that was like these bells or chimes. and then everything went white and gold, and I fell back. And then I started just having a celestial conversation. I'll say that. What happened for the other people in the room, though? It was sunny outside. There was no clouds. It thundered. It got dark. It started raining. The lights started flickering the whole time I was under. And then when I came back up, it was back, it was back like it was. And so
let me ask you a question.
Huh?
Let me ask you a question. I want to go back to that because that's what the point I want to interject on. When you say it don't give you powers, but then you just said it did, right? Because each one of us has done it, has always experienced the same thing. If you're touching the ground, the plants will grow greener, the plants will start growing faster. If you touch, you can make the wind go, you can make the rain come, you can make listen, it can rain all around and it won't rain on you. I guarantee you it will start raining everywhere around in a circle and won't rain on you. So that means I feel like it's giving you power. I mean,
well, this is why I say it doesn't, because I've done that without it. I've done it, and it's been witnessed. Priestess Mook can tell you when we do our convergence, those things happen all the time, and ain't nobody on nothing. I've done it before. I've done it at least 2 other times without being on the medicine.
And I get it. What I'm saying is, when we talk about DNA activation, you might do things subconsciously, you can do things consciously. But when you're on that medicine, you can do a lot of different things. Just when you look at Post, that movie Post, when you look at that movie Limitless, they're talking about DNC. So when we're talking about DNA activation, you're activating your DNA, which moves faster. You might be able to do it, but can you do it at will? You might be able to, but a lot of people can't.
I can.
Or shrooms now they doing now they're in telekinesis. Now they can see the future. Remember, we were talking about you are who you're talking to, right? In other words, you've already talked to your higher self. You've already seen the highest version of yourself. So why as anything else but your higher self if you already seen your highest potential? When you go in there and you see this person on the throne, that's you. So, oh man, I got to act my position in the galactic universe. Now, also, to do one more thing to go back to young elder said, proper preparation for physical performance. Dairy, everything that we already know that we're not supposed to be doing, like she said, it's not telling you nothing new. It's telling you everything we already know. You got to cut dairy. You can't do dairy and do shrooms. Shrooms do not focus. Shrooms is a living entity. Ayahuasca is a living entity. What do they say? Ayahuasca is the grandfather plant or the grandmother?
The grandmother.
The toad is the grandfather. Shanga, like each one of these plants, like tobacco, all these different plants are ancient plants. This is our ancient right. We're not just talking about this shit. Like, I mean, they just switched it up from medicine man to dope boy. That's it. Don't do meat. Cut back on the meat. Fast. About what are we talking about? That's brand new. Everything they tell you from the interdimensional, you gotta realize we talking about that space stuff all the time. Mushrooms came from space. Don't take my word for it. We can do the research. Now, when you saying just getting straight to it, DMT, all these different things is going to activate you regardless of what you did to your body. You just won't go deep in and do the physical. But every time you go in, you got to know what you want to do. You want to do outer work, then go out there like Hawkeye and go look at the sun and go look at the sky, go look at the trees, and that's outer work. You know what I'm saying? Even though he still went in, or you do the inner work and go to that, like she said, the triple darkness and sit in a dark room for days and days. And you're absolutely right. You don't even need, if you sit in darkness for long enough, you'll start seeing
making light.
Sitting in the tub and doing DMT. And you can go into your avatar body and see your avatar selves. It's different realms. You got to kind of like play Jedi when you're going into these different realms. So that's the major thing. Just make sure you cut back from dairy and everything else too. Go ahead, guys.
And I'm gonna say this, like, we were talking about chanting, right? And you take some of these artifacts, take this mask right here, like I said, I think doing mine now, right? You take some of these, you can enchant with them, right? I've had those experiences. My the priest who initiated me, he used to make all kinds of stuff, right? And so we would put them things on and be gone, just gone, and these things can take you into those realms as well. Of course, you know that you live with them.
You can talk to them. Young, you can talk to these artifacts. Like the artifacts that Hawkeye was around, ask him. These ain't from 5 years ago. These are ancient artifacts. So you can talk to them, and they like walkie-talkies in dimensions. You got to realize some of these artifacts, when they were created, priests like the high priest of Batala and Olokun priests, right? Once they create an artifact, the Oba would kill them and put their blood into the artifact so they wouldn't create it for nobody else. That's how powerful the artifacts were. Its technology was. You know what I'm saying? So you could talk to these artifacts, and that's what we like. Oh, we actually the ancient samurai, but we don't do no talking, so don't nobody know that about us. They don't talk. They didn't write nothing down. They just handle business. That's why you got the Great Wall of Benin. Is where they got the. That's why where they got the Great Wall of China from. That's why you look at the samurai and they give you that bullshit story talking about the samurai was a slave. No, the samurais are actually they from the Asian area, but they were refugees, came down there and they called themselves Yoruba and things of that nature in ancient Dahomey and Benin. You see what I'm saying? So they'll give you the whole rundown. You'll look this up, and the information to be valid and fuck, they gave you information. When I be hearing people, some people be thinking that should be sounding crazy, but when they saying you download the information at a rapid speed, yeah, I fuck with the medicine. I most definitely mess with the medicine.
Right.
You got anything before? Because I want to rotate. I do want to get Atari to cross. I appreciate
Hawkeye finished his experience. I think he got cut off on dropping the whole experience. I think he left off with the diamond coming down, and then I don't remember what he said after that.
Okay.
I wanted to hear a little bit more on his experience, man, because that because I definitely need to do it at least once so I can, because my teacher, like I say, Mark Brady, he used to always talk about it and tell me, man, you gotta go on this, because once you experience that journey, it's like it's like put you to a whole, when you come back to this side, you look at life different than you look at it once you did it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't life's not the same, never gonna be the same no more. You're gonna look at everything as a living organism or a part of this reality. Like everything is connected. That's how he was explaining to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Find out that. Go ahead, Arthur.
Yeah, Elder. I just want to say, so have you ever had any type of these experiences ever?
Well, I astro travel. I can what they call remote viewing. We was talking about that earlier with the sister. I'm a natural psychic and I can remote view, and I've been doing it since I was little. And then I finally like 2 years ago figure out what it was, the remote viewing, right? And some people say astral projection and all that. So it's similar, but it's way more stronger when you take the plant medicine. It like especially if you slept, got some good sleep and loaded it, and then you came inside and did it in the sun while you can download all that melatonin, man, that shit help you project it farther, right? So yeah, it's definitely different.
That's crazy. Young Elder ain't been on it yet, but he just told you the ritual. Lionsgate portal, that's what you do. You go down there. Look, I can't show you everything, but you take your little tools, your power tools, and you sit out in the sun and lay down in the ground. You know what I'm saying? Put your blanket down. Man, you can become the lion. You can become whatever animal you shapeshifted. They will become a jaguar, the were jaguar. Young breaking it down. He said it best. When that sun come up and you laying down, you ain't got no shirt on, you sweating all that out your body. You sweating all the parasites out your body. They cleanse your parasites out. He's talking about remote viewing, and I be hearing you when you be saying it. I just don't be speaking on it. We can talk about telekinesis and remote viewing. And we can take it to the next level. It's just I don't want to sound crazy, and I ain't trying to get no red flags. But that remote viewing, you most definitely can do remote viewing on this shit. Yeah. Listen, don't piss me off. I'll pop up in your bedroom and knock all your weed on the floor. You see what I'm saying? No, go ahead though.
Yeah. But Elder, I was gonna say that if you all the things, because you've given us so much information. We all study. We all have studied spiritual information, but just for you, if you have this experience, is something that it just brings it home for you. It's just validation of things that you already know. That's all it is. It's just like a hammer, a sledgehammer on you. Bam, you was correct. You know what I mean? Everything that you ever thought about, studied, people talked about, yes, it's reality. So I would say, do it in a place where you feel comfortable, where you feel at home. I felt at home with Arisha Stone. You know, I even told him after the experience, this was a question that I asked myself going in, because this was the first time, you know, me and him face to face and one-on-one, and you know, really going in. And as I was going in, still before I got to that submit point, I was still in my body a little bit, and something hit me, and I had a thought: do I trust Aretha Stone? And as soon as I had that thought, I had my answer, yes. And that's when I fully went in. So I suggest being around somewhere where you're comfortable so you can relax. Man, he had me on, is familiar with the experience. So everything he set up for me was just wonderful. Him and his wife set everything up, man. You know, the sun, just like you mentioned, that was a part. We were on top of the mound. And the sun rays coming through, brother. It was the most beautiful golden rays you would ever see. You know what I mean? So I definitely say, man, it is something that is just gonna just further everything that you've already studied and everything that you already know, but it's just another level. It's just another level. You know what I'm saying? Just like you say, you know, it's on you know, you already bust head, but this is gonna twist caps. You know what I mean? It's just another level on, you know. So yeah,
Somebody told me my master Mark Brady, he used to say that, man, there's more colors. Like we only see a certain amount of colors on this side, right? But when you go to that side, you experience it's like I think it's 144,000 colors, but we only can see like a certain amount on this side. But once you go to that side, the colors are piercing. You can see new colors. You go past the ultraviolet block. See, like we only got the ultraviolet is far that we can see, but once you go on the trip, right? Once you take that trip on the plant medicine, all the other colors start to come out. Colors you never, damn, where does color come from? I never even seen that blue or that green. It's a different type of green. It's a different type of blue on that side. Yeah.
The conversation ain't gonna be in English. It ain't gonna be in Spanish. It ain't gonna be in Vietnamese. The conversation gonna be in tones and colors.
And let me say this, Elder. I think it was Atari who said this. You know, the words, and I said this to Goddess before, you know, when we had our conversation. The words, before I even started telling her the story, I said the words that I use is not going to be able to describe the experience. I'm doing the best I can to describe it, but you're so right. The level of color that you see is the realism. I mean, it's just something. Imagine going from something like you know, we talk about computer graphics and video games. Imagine going from something like, I don't know if y'all remember, probably telling my age, but like Nintendo 64 or something. Okay, that's the 3D. That's the 3D, right? Well, what you're gonna see is PS5. You know what I mean? It's that type of jump. It's that type of jump where you can. It's just so vibrant, man. It's just unreal of the depth and the life of the color. It is so deep on every level. You will never see such vibrant, high energy color. You know,
you can see sound. You can see sound.
Yeah,
you see it.
Everything is just on a conscious mental level. It's just totally, and words again are not doing it justice. I'm just trying to give you the spirit and emotion to come through so you can understand. That's the best that I could do, better than words. But it is unreal. It is unreal, Elder. Yeah.
The frequency, see, like the whole universe is based on frequency. Like everything is a frequency, even like this chair, everything's a frequency. So once you go to that realm, you begin to see the frequencies that's because we are projection. We're being projected here. Like if you go study it's the Pleiades galaxy and what they call the photon belt. The photon belt is like you ever went to the old movie theaters where they got the camera rolling and then they shoot light through the film, then it projects onto the screen. So we're in that projection. But on the plants, you can go into the actual film, the actual making of the film, the actual every single detail in the film, like stuff that like from a small screw all the way up. You go into every single detail of how the film is being projected. And that's another like I said, I never did it before, like with the with that, but just based on what people told me, and then the dream realm is similar, but it ain't as potent as the plant medicine make it, right? Like you, when you dream, you be in the realm too, but it's like you're really not as conscious. When you're on the plant medicine, you're more conscious and aware, like a lucid dreaming. But then not only that, you go into the fifth density, because in the fourth density is where the dream realms at. So you see everything in 3D there, because all the other realms above this realm, like say 1, 2, and 3 makes 4. So when you go to that realm, the fourth dimension, which is the dream state, you'll see things and it'll be crisp. But when you go to that will take the DMT, it projects you higher into that dimension, into that same dream state, and to where you are aware, and at the same time you got full access to your brain. You remember I'm gonna tell you what it is, what it's doing to me, based on my scientific research on it. What it's doing is opening up a higher percentage. Like say we operate at 20% of brain capacity, but when you take the plants, it shoots you up 50, 60%. Now you got to remember when we watched the movie Lucy, and she was taking the drugs, right? Really, that's what that really was. That drug, it really was the plant medicine, but they try to make it like some blue shit and all that. It really was the plant medicine. They actually made that shit from the plant medicine. So as she taking it, right, and she got so much of it in her system, she began to get more brain capacity, use more of her brain. Right. And at 40%, she was shape shifting. Go ahead. She was shape shifting at 40%, and then at 100%. She became part of invisible, part of the black matter, right? She became part of the black matter. So if you stay in that state long enough, I think you would disappear. Even your physical body will just vaporize in this dimension once you go to a certain level. So what the DMT or the plant medicine is doing, it's expanding your brain capacity. It's giving us access to more of our brain. Then when they cut data, and then especially if you ain't trapped with religion and all that, bogging you down, because religion is to bog us down and keep us old. Like God is outside of yourself when God is in us. So what you're doing is you're going within. When you take the plant medicine, you go within, and you will be amazed of, hey, it's a whole universe inside of me. It's a whole realm inside of my. And man, it's like I said, I talked to a lot of people. I even been around people who went up on it, right? And I see what they were saying. Like some people say, I see real green elephants and purple elephants dancing around and shit. Like I heard a lot of different people experience a lot of different things. But I think it depends on too. Like Risha was saying, what your preparation. Like okay. Like if I knew I was gonna get ready to go, I go watch a whole bunch of videos on certain things like that I want to think about when I go there. I already know I'm gonna come in contact with Hootie. I got a whole book coming out called about me and hanging with Tahuti, right?
Oh, I love
it. He whistle all it, man. Like I got a book I'm working on now called Hanging with Uncle Tahuti. When I drop that, it's gonna be lit. But yeah, I can't wait to like do it myself so I can come back and dig based on what I already know, learned, and then when I experience it, then come back and then be able to, man, I think I'm gonna be able to explain it a lot easier, because she said the words, the sounds, everything is, you can see the sound because that sound is a frequency. You can see light, and all that has a code, like a light, it's light codes, and you can look at a light. The sister was saying that earlier. We was talking to the sister earlier from Chicago. She was saying, when I seen a light, I can see the person as a light, but I knew who they were. Why? Because that light, we all light being projected here. That's how the pioneer and that's how the optic nerves work. When you see you seeing light being light reflecting off that person and then projected into your optic nerves. It that then is translated in the pineal gland, and then it comes into images in your mind. And it's also you can reverse that. You can create images in your mind and then send them out. That's what people doing when they writing books, making movies. They actually imagination. So the bigger your imagination is, the bigger your experience is when you cross over to that realm. You got a big ass imagination, man. Once you cross over, ain't no telling what the hell you gonna see. Ain't no telling what you gonna see, man.
The spiritual mind frame. When you going in, like you said, you already locked into Hootie. You see what I'm saying? So you're gonna see mantras. Mantras are really important to already know what you're going in for. Say it over and over and over again. Lock in, because like you said, you programming your mind. You're a Gemini. When you say the program, you're a Gemini, but you also you already know your collective kin number, right? So you putting all that together, and you already know what room to go in now. That's when you start getting like silver surfing a little bit. You ride in the matrix instead of just falling through it forever. You can go to different rooms and be like, I need this. Now you like, all right. So you remember the engineer in the Matrix, the one, the operator, and he's the one doing all that. That's what you're gonna be doing. The operator was the coldest motherfucker in the game. You see, they could operate this game over for everybody. You become a generator, operator, destroyer. Destroy all the illusion, destroy all the bullshit. Like you said, the filter is gone. Then you could run in reverse, but we ain't running in reverse. We generating, operating, destroying. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, God, the way you talk about it, God, we pull up. You know what I'm saying? Or you can do it down in the mountains. You in Louisiana. This mountain, when you do this plant medicine, you can go out there and talk to the spirit guides. Whoever you want to talk to, look into a Vajra. A Vajra makes sure that. Now, this is what we also got to talk about: spiritual protection when you're going in here. We got a lot of great comments, and I can't keep up with them. We got a lot of great questions. Said something about the black dot. So you got to protect your Ori and your pineal gland and everything else, because once you start getting into the spirit realm and you start seeing other things, they start seeing you too. So you really got to stay tuned to what makes sense of the frequency. Going back to what we were talking about, Akashic, you know about Akashic, don't you, young elder?
Nah, I don't know. I might know their face. Like when I see their face, I say, "Oh yeah," you know what I'm saying? I don't really have time to look up, man. What I'm working on, I'm always working on something. I don't never have time to look up.
So
Nobody.
He the one that kind of messed up the economy of Egypt, because he's the first one that said, "Yo, there's one God now."
I cannot.
Oh, okay. You say Uncle. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I know who. That's King Tut. Yeah.
Or Akhenaten. They call him so many different things. You might call him something else because he is something else he's like Avatar. When we watching these X-Men movies and they talking about the first mutant and they talking about his face was in the form, and they talking about Apocalypse, they were talking about this nigga right here. You see what I'm saying? King Daddy and King Tut's mama weren't even human. Look this up. Don't take my word for it. They were interdimensional beings.
I know exactly what you're talking about. He was a hybrid. He was actually. Some people say he had the cone head mixed with him too. The cone head mix.
They said a cone head because they trying to put him in our bodies, but look at he wasn't from our body. Look now, don't take my word for it. Look at their stone game. Their stone game. They're into Libyan desert glass, and before they knew how to melt iron, he had a iron tektite. You know how hard you know how the iron meteorite is? It's a meteorite. It's super hard. They couldn't melt it way back then in the BC times. You see what I'm saying? They were working with soft metals, gold, copper, silver was a rare commodity to them back then. Silver was more expensive than gold back then. You know what I'm saying? So for him to have an iron meteorite dagger with inscriptions on it, and in his chest plate, he has a Libyan desert glass meteorite on his chest plate. It was passed down. The place was passed down. He didn't do it. Come on now. King Tut was handicapped. That's what they say. But we also got turquoise on him that says he was over here in Americas. Because there's different kind of turquoise. The stones have a language within themselves. Like you say, you start paying attention more to things when you start going into the I can't even break the word down. The molecules of shit. You know what I'm saying? Stones are that. Stones are sacred geometry. All this is sacred math and geometry. That's when you start going into the Metatron's cube and all these sacred geometry symbols, you know what I'm saying? But Akhenaten, he wouldn't balance this shit out. He was only for the sun and what he had going on. He actually moved away from Upper Kemet and moved over there somewhere ducked off. He wasn't paying attention to the needs of the people and the landmass. He was in the spirit realm of his own. Men ain't supposed to stay in the spirit realm that long, not on this realm. You see what I'm saying? The oracles for that. So, in other words, he fucked up it. While you're not paying attention to the physical realm, that's why Egypt kept on getting conquered and people, because he wasn't worried about the physical aspect of protection of the land.
And you know the whole backstory to that too. The backstory to what you're saying, because King Tut, he wasn't handicapped. What happened is somebody rigged his his dad had got his dad he faked his death because they was trying to kill him, right? Antanankin. And so King Tut took over, but so he had to do what they call a Sed festival. The Sed festival is when the pharaoh do it's like a Olympics, where the pharaoh gotta prove that he fit and in shape to take over rule of Egypt, right? So with the suckers that was trying to take over the kingdom, the brothers of darkness, they were trying to take over the kingdom. So his homeboy set him up, and he rigged his chariot. They used to go hunt ostrich, right? And so they rigged his chariot, and he fell off the chariot and broke his leg. That's why he had those. He fell off his and broke his leg before the
Still handicapped.
Well, you can say that. Yeah, he was handicapped, but he still actually won the goddamn Sed festival and became the king. And he also they used to get paid bi-weekly. In Egypt, they used to get paid under his father. His father went around knocking all the other gods down, and he brought everybody under one god called Atum, right? He got rid of all the other gods. Right, so he was on that one god philosophy. And so, but King Tut used to go found in Egypt, they used to stamp the paperwork with this seal, with his father's seal. So he went in his mother's bathroom and found the seal. And King Tut used to dress up like a homeless guy and walk around with the regular people, right? And he used to, that's fire. That's the egg. That's the egg.
That's the seal.
Yeah. The seal. It looked like kind of like. Yeah. So he had that seal, right? And so while he used the seal, he used to walk dressed like a homeless guy, and he used to have decoys. They used to have decoys. Well, he'll have his homeboy dress up like he the king, like he the prince. And he addressed like a regular dude. That way, if somebody came to, because they wanted to assassinate him, so they'll take the kidnap his homeboy, thinking that it's him, right? But meanwhile, as he walking around, he started listening to what the people were saying about his father. And one thing that was complaining about is they wanted to get paid every week instead of bi-weekly. So what he did is he went and got that seal and got some his scribes to draw up new paperwork. And he stamped the seal on it and authorized them to get paid every week. When his father came back, go ahead.
It's some good questions in there because you're going in, and guess what? They're asking a good question. I'm gonna give an answer immediately to. They said, how do you know? The stones give you. When we say the Rosetta Stone, people don't understand. The Rosetta Stone wasn't nothing besides saying you owe me taxes. We look at it like a spiritual. No, when we say how do you know, these stories were already written down. The truth was already written in stone. So it's not like like we don't study our culture, but they are. They got all this hidden in certain museums. They got it on their museum walls. Got his high priestess has actually been to these museum places.
I've seen her.
She's seen it. You can look this up if you go on AI, not AI, but you go on the internet and you can Google search, and you can go to the museum yourself and look at it on the walls. You know what I'm saying? So nothing we just saying like we was there. But like I said, we can also remote view. You get on that DMT and go to get the right artifact. You can go back in time and see it yourself. But
they did a movie out about it too.
Everybody
they put a movie out about how King Tut was using the plant medicine, and the reason why it was this another group called the Priest of Set, right? The Priest of Set, and they was trying to get bring Set back to this side from that realm, right? And so they would do these rituals, but they were looking for the emerald tablets, right? And they put a movie out about it. I'll think of the movie in a minute. I think of the movie. I got the movie on DVD.
Somebody said that the Nubians wouldn't do plant medicine, which makes no sense whatsoever, considering they're the kings of cocaine. You had plenty of cocaine in the Pharaoh's tomb. What are you talking about right now? They had plenty of marijuana, they had cocaine, they had all these plant medicines. Don't think that, it was just marijuana and cocaine back then. They got Africa raw, they got also. So now I'll say this, it's not for everybody. Everybody ain't a priest. Everybody ain't common.
Not for everybody.
warrior. Everybody in this room is warrior. This is for somebody that's spiritually in tune. It might not be for you, but if it's not for you, you know what I'm saying? That's, we ain't trying
And
to.
then you know what? I want to say this too, that we should talk about the general experience that most people have, that it depends. So, you know, we got Brother Hawkeye that's already at a certain space in his frequency, young elder yourself, Sister Goddess Atari, you know what I'm saying? But generally, like what happens when people go on this, one of the first things that people I'm just saying from a basic experience, if you have traumas, so the plant medicine is also good to relieve traumas. So if you have traumas, if you have something that happened to you that was horrific in your childhood and stuff like that, the plant medicines are used for that, to remove those things, so that you can go now to the next level. And you'll be, and once you go into using that, you'll get the message that you probably need to do it again, because the first time you do it, it may just be an emotional experience, right? The next level that people go into when they do the plant medicine is ancestral. So you may go in there and see all of your ancestors from, you know, way back when, from, you know, starting with your nana and, you know, whatever, and then you'll probably see them. And then sometimes it just depends. It just depends on where you enter in, right? But those are some of the general experiences. This is why they tell you a lot of times not to even tell people what you experience. Because sometimes people, you know, they might say, oh, I want to go in there and I want to, you know, see sound or whatever. So what if you don't see sound? Then you think that you're not having the proper experience. But the mushrooms will take you to the experience that you need to have. And sometimes you need to do it multiple times to really get into, if you really want to go way, way out there, you know, and have a celestial or cosmic, galactic, whatever experience that may not happen the very first time. So we want to make sure we set the
right. If you met the person doing it with you. One thing I want to say, thank you so much for bringing that up, and saying that we jump to the good parts. When you're absolutely right. If you that go through a lot of trauma, if you somebody that went, I'm talking about trauma is bad experiences with the police, bad experience with the law system, bad experience with your mama, bad experience with your father. I loosely touched on it when I said there's something in the back of your mind that you don't realize that programs you. And I left it there because everybody got a different programming. It might have been mental abuse. It might have been something on TV. You got to realize they call it the television, the program, for a reason. This something might have programmed you, made you a material girl since Barbie or anything of that matter. It's all sorts of different things that programmed us. The plant medicine helps you find that mark and deal with it and get rid of it. There is a lot of crying sometimes. There is a lot of coming in sometimes. You ain't doing your outside. Now, I said, like she said, you can avoid that by doing your work way before you get there. Before you get there, you already fast. You already doing your plant medicine. You already drinking your teas, your reishi mushroom. You already meditate. You already getting in frequency. Because if you're not, it's gonna shake you in the frequency. That's it. Now, when you get past that, that's when now going back to also what you said. You went in with Dr. Kalandi. So it don't matter who go in. If you come in with us, I'm going to send you to go see God. You better go see God. You know why? Because I'm giving you the God dose. Why? We didn't come here to microdose. I'm not your friend.
That's right.
You came here to see God. Come on to the other side real quick. We go open this door for you like a leg book. Now, and then we, you know what I'm saying? We got to get into this overstanding. Our ancestors gave us the keys. They calling us Sheila Jit. Most definitely Sheila Jit. Most definitely get into that, because that most definitely will help you on your spiritual journey. Because you tapping into ancestors. That's ancestor. That's ancient ancestor trees. You know what I'm saying? Different things you do want to pay attention to. I know we jumped to the good part because that's where I'm at in my spiritual journey now. It wasn't always like that. There was a whole lot of crying and, oh, this is why I'm messed up, or this is why I need to heal, or this is why I need to heal from, and this is why you need to cut different cords. Listen, you dealing with plant medicine that's part plant, part reptile, right? That's why they call it the toad, right? Some of us call it toad. You dealing in the mind that, if you're dealing with the serpent medicines and toad medicine, you got to shed. You got to shed all that old self and all that old way of thinking and all the old things, and go to your Kundalini, because that's what you're activating. Your when you're talking about activating your 13 DNA strands, let me say 12, but 13 DNA strands, you're activating your Kundalini, your reptilian. So you got to shed. You want to say it? Everybody say, how did everybody say something? We saw the same thing. We don't know each other from Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Saw the same Adams. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So go ahead though.
Yeah.
Can I ask some another thing? Okay, so what I was telling you about the King Tut, and he was trying to find the emerald tablets it was passed down to Pharaoh. So Antanuncan had possession of them, but essentially in the emerald tablets we read online, the one the government, the Illuminati or the Hellfire Council gave us, it's not the original one. It's watered down and all that. Essentially in this emerald tablets, Tahuti had chants in there to rise the dead, and they played it out in the Bible where Joshua went to Egypt, then he came back, he went to Egypt and learned how to raise the people raise them from the dead, and that translated into masonry and all that. But they actually in Egypt they were actually raising people from the dead, right? So it was a chant, it was different chants in this emerald tablets that showed you how to do that. And so that's why they was trying to get them tablets so they can bring Satuk back, right, from the dead. This priesthood, they made a movie about it, man. And then so on that plant medicine, you can actually go to that, like you were saying, go see the people on the you can go to that realm, but it's a gulf in between once you go over there, because you can't really talk to those people. You're only supposed to be able to talk to those people, but they talk about it as Abraham's bosom in the Bible. Well, before Yahshua came and all the whole Riddick they come up with, but they stole that shit from ancient Egypt about the boatman Anubis. It was a chant in there where you could call up Anubis. You could call up Anubis and Anubis will go retrieve they soul essentially, or they spiritual essence, and they can be brought back to this side, right? Through this chant or this whatever. I never read it actually myself, but this is what I'm told by certain masters who said that, oh yeah, this is what was in the emerald tablets. This is why they won't let us get the real one, because we'll know how to raise people from the dead. But they took the shit and applied it to Jesus. Go ahead.
See, they don't got to give it to you. 1 second, guys. They don't got to give it to you because they already gave it to you. The ancestors hid it in the stone. They didn't hide it in words. In the Bible, one thing about the basic instruction before they even earth, they already tell you all the gemstones you got to be in tune with. They did it in like a rhythm. They put codes and different things. This is way over motherfucking head. They already prophesied. The oracles already prophesied that they were going to switch everything, change time, all these different things. Now, when you get into the plant medicine, or the stones in general, stones and the plants. Now, Hawkeye, you just bought me a ring, right? You bought that ring with Anubis on it. What is Anubis doing? He's doing a ceremony. And on the ceremony, the Pharaoh is laying down on the tomb before he throws him in that tomb for that 7 day in the darkness. He's putting an unk in his mouth. The unk, again, I go back to the unk represented the mushroom. He put the mushroom in his mouth and walked out and left his ass in there. And guess what? He walked the spirit realm. He did the Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, purple juice.
Right.
Hey, you know some scary shit. Go ahead.
I want to say this about you say Anubis, but we say if you can read, when you read the Metanetta, the Greek names, that's not what's on the wall. It's Ampu, and there's Ampu and Ampuat, right? So they always lead a female out, right? But there's two of them, and they're guarding the doorways. And so we use them for house cleaning. When you come in, you want to cleanse your house, you put them at every doorway, Ampu and Ampuat, because they do two different things. Because you have the male energy, of course, that's the one that they always show. They come up, they don't never show Ampuat and what she does, right? But when you put those two together, that's your protection everywhere. Anytime you go, whether whether you are going into you're going into spaces using the plant medicine or anything like that, or just around your house, every doorway you can evoke Ampuat, and nothing ain't gonna come in. They ain't gonna come in. This was a long time when my children were small. You know how they are. Children can always see the spirits, and so sometimes I would use those two, and sometimes I would use a set and Nebuchadnezzar or Nekabet and Wajet, the same,
What
same
about
kind of
Bess? The
energy.
god Bess. One of
Bess,
God
yep,
Bess. Yeah.
yep. But I used Bess and Tyert. Those are the more ancient ones from Meroe. See, a lot of times, we talk about ancient Egypt, but or Kemet, but we don't talk about Meroe because Meroe, they completely flooded that area because they don't want nobody reading none of that stuff. And I think, it's just my perspective that is the area that's connected to us over here because that was they buried all of that. Like when I went to Kemet, I'll tell Arisha Stone about that. When I would go into when I went into the library and the museum in Cairo, I wanted to roam around freely. They would not let me roam around freely. I said, okay, wait a minute, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom and then I try to break away from the thing and they come and get me. And then they said, everything you want is in Aswan. And that's the upper Egypt, but that's the southernmost part the way we use, whatever, up is down, down is up. But upper Egypt is near the Sudan. And that's where most of the pyramids and all of that stuff is. And in that area, that whole museum was all make believe. They didn't put none of because it didn't have the same, like when you talking about King Tut. King Tut had a lapis lazuli ankh, and that thing has when you walk past or whatever, it has so much energy coming off of it. You can see, you would know, like we would know the stuff that's real and the fake stuff, right? The fake stuff was so clear, because it didn't have no energy on it. It was just, you probably could touch it and it would fall apart.
Young,
But,
did you hear that word she said? Did you say they told you to go what?
Lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli.
Or Aswada?
You use that stone, right?
yep, that
Hey,
one.
you use that
Yep.
stone for some of your jewelry. Yeah, I remember doing. Remember I did a.
Now,
Yep.
elder. Now, remember I said during my travel that I saw a deep blue stone. Well, guess what I had in my pockets? Lapis, and
Wow.
I pulled this
Look
out
at
and I
that.
showed Arisha Stone. Now, a couple of shows before this, I had talked about. I put out some other blue stones and said I was carrying blue stones now.
Look at
I don't know
that.
if you remember that show, but yeah, I had this in my pocket for the protection. On the other side, I was carrying Elite Shungai. But this is the stone I had in my pocket that you just talked about. And I just want to say just real quick too, just reiterate that we talked about the traumas and people who might not want to go on this particular path, do it this particular way. That's perfectly, if you don't feel that's something you need to do or want to do, that's your path. We're just talking about our experience and what we've done. I felt comfortable with the experience because of the work that I put in, that I felt that I was moving toward. So I felt totally comfortable going into this space. So I just think that's key, and that's very important, is that you don't have, this is not something you force yourself into. This is something you work yourself up to, and get ready for. So if, like we've been talking about throughout all these shows, work on your traumas, release that, so you can be lighthearted. You can go in with positive energy. At no time did I ever feel any type of negative energy or fear or anything of that nature. It was all positive. And I believe that's, due to the fact that in the work throughout the years, just like you said, fasting, learning, practicing. So it was a definite positive experience knowing that I was ready for it. So if you're ready for that and you want to take that, hey, holler at me. I'll come down there. We all do it, with Arisha Stone. I'll come back for another one. For sure, brother. I think that'll be high power,
Look,
and then just real quick to finish up.
I'm gonna do one with you.
Yeah, all right. I love that. Yeah, definitely. And then Elder, just to finish up the story, go back where I was coming out and everything was green around me. And Orisha Stone appeared again. It wasn't like a slow, he just appeared. I looked up and he just appeared. And he was sitting down or squatting down, just looking at me, right? And I looked up at him and I said, "You're back. You're back." You know? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, brother, now let me tell you this last part. Now, as I'm coming down the hill, you know, me and him, our kin numbers, we both warriors, right? That's part of an aspect of who we are. And as I'm coming down the hill, I felt feeling more powerful and powerful and powerful. You understand? And something told me at a certain time. Now we coming down the hill, and he told me, "Hey, like I said, it was cover. It was lots of plants." He told me, "Hey, you got to be careful of the bugs out here and everything." You know what I said? God has already cussed, so I'm gonna bring it forward. I said, "Man, I got to take off my shirt for some reason." About halfway down the hill, right up under the sun, I just felt this need to take my shirt off. You know what I'm saying? I felt that warrior spirit just coming out. He said, "Man, I don't know if you want to do that." I said, "Fuck that." And I just ripped off my shirt, man. And this warrior spirit, I just let out this growl. You know what I mean? The power that I felt coming down the hill after the experience was just off the charts, brother. So I just wanted to finish that up, to give you the full experience of what everything was. I felt powerful, at peace and love, and everything that I saw was something that I particularly needed. But it was just a wonderful experience for me.
Let me tell you real quick. When we come up, he said we would give offerings. One offering we forgot was to bring limestone. When you're going up those mounds and pyramids, we call ourselves the mound builders, right? We got to pay attention to the tricks of the land. They got little wicked spells when they put the X's with the wood and everything else. Pay attention to that. Don't step on those. And also the trick of the land, they threw ticks. They put ticks out there. That's why I was telling him, don't be careful. We got to put certain stuff on us and make sure they shit good, because you'll get a bunch of ticks on you. So every time you go to these mounds, throw down limestone. Limestone gets rid of ticks. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If we start doing that on a regular basis, when we go up there, we ain't got to worry about them ticks. You already know they dramatically modifying the mosquitoes, ticks. Not to mention, we in the center of the forest and woods and everything. We still got bobcats and bears and everything else. But at the same time, we the first niggas they done seen in forever. Most people don't know that what this is. So when we come out there, they look at us and they connect to us like, oh, the gods have returned. You know what I'm saying? All the animals and everything. We live in Florida, bro. This is baby Australia. So all the animals, they can tune in with you when you on that plant medicine. We've been surrounded by deers before, and a deer will fuck you up. An ox will fuck you up, and a bison will fuck you. Excuse me, 1,000 parts, guys. These animals will mess you up, but these animals mess them up, and they get around us, and they get calm. They stand around you, and I mean, my witnesses can bear witness. I just can't call their names, but we got surrounded by deers, and the deer didn't have horns, so I think she was a female. The rest of them were all females. I didn't see no man deer, but I'm pretty sure he was somewhere around. And it was a squirrel. I know the squirrel came and said something to me first. They said, "Pay attention." And my witness pat me on the shoulder because I'm over there meditating. They said, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I said, "What you mean?" And we looked up, and we were surrounded by deers. The deer will mess you up. The deer started doing this dance and hitting the ground. And then it did this little playful dance, did a little laugh, and they all took off. Like they paid respect. Then we got approached by a bear. I don't got to tell you what a bear do in Florida. You see what I'm saying? So now back to what Goddess May I said. They told her to go to a certain aisle. They said Aswa, right? Now that goes back into the knowledge. All this pieced together in a way because young elder got knowledge of the Quran, don't you? Now, if you look in the Quran, the old Quran, the Neruda Quran is translated by a black woman. That's the only Quran that was translated by a melanated woman. They changed it, they alter it, they lied to us with this Quran and say, oh, the Quran is the only book that hasn't been manipulated and altered and everything else. And then they put Al-Fatiha in the beginning of the Quran when it's really Al-Dikra. So immediately we got to get rid of the bullshit. But in there, they break down Aswada Swahili. That's why that's Swahili, to be black, to be bold, to be black, to be greater. It was never a curse to be black. It was never a bad thing to be black. None of that. You know what I'm saying? In the Quran, they said, when they say Ashwada, they're saying those are the black, the bold ones, the black, the great ones. You see what I'm saying? So when they told her, go with the black ones. You know what I'm saying? That ain't never been, but neither here nor there. It just ties back into all these religious systems know the truth. All these religious, you know what I'm saying, spiritual practices know the truth. You go in, when you talk about skywalking and everything else, you got to go through the other dimensions. When you talk about the Jaguar clan, you always talk about the Jaguar clan, guys. The Jaguar clan goes in and they go interdimensional. Bro, be always talking about the Lyrans, We talking about the same people. He just talking about it from the intercosmic aspect of it.
Yeah.
We talking from the same cosmic interdimensional aspect of it. We're talking about the same beings. You know what I'm saying? So, most definitely. I mean, all of our ancestors.
I got a question for the daughters.
Go ahead.
I got a question for the high priestess. When you went to Aswan, did you see the real people there? Because they like to show us on TV these pale Arabs, but the real people there are dark skinned people. You know what I'm saying? The real people in Aswan. That's when you really start seeing the real people of that land when you go down to Aswan.
You know what? You the only place you got to do is go outside of Cairo, right? So I did the whole Nile cruise, right? So Cairo, of course, is mostly Arab, and you know they don't really get down with the Nubians. As soon as I hit Luxor, because see this is the thing. So they tell you Egypt, the largest city in Egypt is Cairo, right? And they say it's like 10 million people. But in Egypt, there are something like 40 or 50 million people. So that means everybody else looked like us. So as soon as I got off that boat, and I was the only Black person on that boat, soon as I got off of that ship in Luxor, everybody was like, welcome home. You my cousin. We the same thing. They kept pointing at our skin. We the same thing. And they would, a little boy, he took me, he wanted me to meet his mother. Like I got off the ship, I went in somebody's house, and they gave me a Coca-Cola, whatever. And so, yes, and they are very receptive to us. They'll tell you welcome. And then they also want to show you your stuff. The same thing happened to me in Mexico too, though. When at Mexico, when I didn't go on one of the tourist trips, I went to, I stayed there for about 2 months. And we rented a house and everything. And on the bus, and I don't speak Spanish. Actually, this was a European looking Mexican, but he was, his daughters had gone to school over here. And so I'm on the bus and he said, just follow us. We're going to the same place. I went to Tepoztlan. And then they just started telling me, they said, listen, okay, this is where you need to go to find the Olmec heads. This is where you need to go, make sure you go to this temple and that temple or whatever. They just start breaking it down to you. The people that live, because see, they like to promote that area, I'm saying Kemet, that is mostly Arab. It is not, it is mostly Nubian. And I lost the video, but I had a video. They were on the Nubians, they were on a boat. And they was up in there having church sound just like us. They had their drums and and a tambourine and they was singing and, drumming and everything. And it was amazing. And then, again, it's like, it's the same thing from over there to over here. And, they like to promote again, also that Mexicans don't like Black people. That is not true. It might be the European ones, but they are a small percentage. The regular people, I met somebody look just like Arisha Stone. He looked just like Arisha. I saw a whole bunch of people look just like him in Mexico. And they all just, like I remember I was at the bank. I was in town. I was at the bank and going to the ATM machine, and it took my card, and I couldn't understand. And so, how we from over here, right? So I go, and I'm, where's the manager? Whatever. And it was a whole bunch of people standing in line, and not once did I hear gringo, but Europeans and Caucasians. If they held up the line, I kept hearing gringo. But with me, they were just like, okay, whatever, we'll go get the manager. And the manager comes over and, retrieves my stuff and tells me how to read the screen and everything. And it was none of what they promote about how they don't like us and all of that stuff. They were very much aware. We had a tour guide who took us to one of, we weren't in Palenque or, one of the major temples. We were in, and I'm saying it, I'm gonna butcher the name, Chalcatzingo. We went to the temple of the temple of the sun and the moon. And it was up on this big step pyramid, and they had a guide, and he was a little short man, looked just like one of the Olmec heads. And he told us, he said they told him to stop telling people that these are, he used the word Negroid or African or whatever. Stop telling the tourists that, because that's what he was telling the tourists. Because they say that's we the same thing. They like, yeah, we are y'all, and because the Jesuits are over there, and they don't want them to tell the white people that these are black people. And but he was telling them, and they told him that they would not put him on the tour if they'll stop giving him tours if he keeps telling the people that they're black. But of course he told us, and then he took us all up into these different places and stuff. We also saw people scraping the stuff off the walls. They were literally just scraping it off because they didn't want.
They got dark skin. That's why.
Yep.
Yep. The Mexicans, it's like 2 or 3 different branches of them. The one branch that's akin to us, they are mixed with the Asians, right? The Asians come over in whole skin. So that you'll see that's the group that's our family. But the group that when Hernando Cortez and them came over and started pillaging and raping the people down there, that is the European mix. The European mix, they with the Spaniards. Then you got another group like the Mexicans that mixed back in with the Sands people that was down in South America. So they got woolly, thick hair and the same color skin as ours, and they kind of resemble like a upgraded Sands people. But them the real Mexicans, the real Mexicans, the real original Armax and Amaru Khan people that were down there. And you even it's a dude named Barbados. I might be saying his name right. Balboa, that's his name. Balboa.
Oh, Balboa.
When he got over here, when he got over here, he said that he saw the people down there, and they resemble the same people he saw in Ethiopia. Right? The same people, they look the same.
Yep.
And then meanwhile, you wondering why Mexico sent an Armac helmet to Ethiopia. That's what they telling us, that they sent that Armac helmet. The Mexicans don't even got enough. Why would the Mexicans send an Armac helmet to Ethiopia? Man, I believe that shit was already over there, and they trying to cover up that it was a connection between these people on both sides of the water. I believe that it was a connection. You know what I think? I was thinking about this today. I said, man, I don't even believe the Armacs. I believe the Armacs had helicopters. Like they had helicopters and advanced technology, and they was traveling around. Go ahead, Risha.
Go back into when we talk about, everybody want to say they're the first Mississippians and the original Americans and everything else. We got to do the research. When you say the mother culture, not only were they doing plant medicine, they were communicating with the stars. What they sound like. You always be talking about the Moors thing. What is the real Moors? They're navigators by the stars, right? How could they navigate and tap into the sacred geometry of the stars? They did it with that plant medicine. You now look up Pacao. Pacao is the scientist now. We don't talk about him enough because they try to whitewash him. And I don't, because he's from the Jaguar clan. He was completely against the Kalakmul clan, the Serpent clan. But that's some ancestral shit going on. You know what I'm saying? But they black. I can show you the plaque. But Linky looks like you with locks, with a big nose and with locks.
Yeah.
The plaque. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about Palenque. So when we talking about all these, you said you think they got, bro, they had spaceships, they had ancient technology.
Yeah, they had all it.
They had stargates. Look up the temples, look at the stones. Look
That's right. That's right, Arisha. Go ahead.
Viracocha got a stone with a sun god in it. One thing about it, we keep talking about the sun. We forget. I hear a lot of people call us a lot of different things. We forgot that originally, before we called ourselves anything, we called ourselves the sun, the children of the sun. Gates. They didn't need just helicopter per se, but if you look at Palenque and they always talking about that spaceship and everything. He's the one that gave them the whole. In other words, a nigga created the spaceship and how to interdimensionally time travel. And we just overlooking that because we don't want to sound too spaced out. Yet on NBC they talking about 9-foot black Americans. They didn't say Africans. They didn't say Australians. They said our stock. Like they little stock of them, a snake or dog. They pay attention to our stock a whole lot. So we need to pay attention to ourselves. That's it.
Yeah. I think they lying about the time frame too on how long we've been on this planet, because
Oh yeah.
that 2 million Lucy thing that we predate it. I think we predate that Lucy out of Africa theory. I think that these Armacs been around at least over 6 billion years, and they've been had, like you said, they had stargates. They found the original med bed down in Peru. So yeah, and they
Mm-hmm.
took that and reverse engineered it. So if these people had med beds thousands of years ago, what else the hell they had? See, they really
Mm-hmm.
been
The
gaslighting us, man, for a
timeline
long
is
time on who we
50
are.
million
Go ahead.
years. It's
Check,
50
Mm-hmm.
million years.
real quick, I say this. Look at
It's
the
50
pyramid.
million, y'all.
Piano. Look at the time frame. We talking about pyramid games, right? And I'm gonna get right to you, Atari. We talking about ley lines. This isn't something we made up. This is science. This is something that they're teaching in schools right now. We just casually speaking about it. But each one of these ley lines is a mound or a pyramid. Each one of the pyramids, they have a quartz pyramid right off the coast of Florida. That tells you enough because Florida was way bigger. Louisiana was way bigger. We didn't think about what you're talking about. You're talking about the Olmecs. We didn't have to damn get that far. You can get a boat. If they didn't shoot you out the sky with the Coast Guard right now, we can get in a refrigerator, flip the refrigerator over, and paddle our way to Mexico. If you're talking about old Florida, which they already showed you the bones. Hawkeye told you. He saw. They already tell you about the Timucua. They'll call you seminar to throw you off. They already told you about the Timucua. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The Washington or Chief. I got family all in Alabama. They got a county named after my people, and that's connected to Chief Tuscaloosa. Look up Greene County. You see what I'm saying? These are black chiefs. This isn't no new thing. If we got a pyramid off the coast of Cuba right now, don't take my word for it. Look it up. They got a pyramid off the coast of Cuba. The whole structure is good, so you can't say it was an earthquake that sank it because it's not broken up. It's in the same function. You got niggas around this world. You got our faces. You telling me they all took time? All these ancestors around the world: Cambodia, Egypt, Mexico. They all. And when we say Mexico, you
Europe.
about the Toltec? What about the Zopotec? What about there's a bunch of people we don't know. We ain't all the way tapped in yet. We think we are though. Everybody think they there, but it's all we gonna learn from the cradle to the grave. But what I'm saying is that those statues are millions and millions. We talking about thousands. I'd say a time stamp just to fuck with their head a little bit. I'd say, listen, if this was 2,000 years before Christianity, Christianity's older than Islam. If this is 3,000 years, 2,500 years before Judaism, then why am I talking to y'all? You know what I'm saying? Kemet, if this is either older than Kemet or the same parallels Kemet, then what we talk about. Why do they got your face in Cambodia on the wall right now? Why do they got the largest statue of a black man ain't in Africa, it's in Cambodia? You see what I'm saying? The guy just said she went to Mexico. You go to Mexico, there's a statue of a black woman in the middle of Mexico, the statue of a black woman, big nose, big lips, sitting in the middle, surrounded by serpents, and everybody comes to touch her. But she looks just like Goddess Mayat. But you telling us we not welcome down there? We can't go up the pyramid, walk on these pyramids. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna get out your way. Atari, you had something?
No, I just want to bring this full circle because you mentioned Cambodia, right? Cambodia was that's the ancient site of Angkor Wat. And that was recently discovered. And I want to bring this full circle because I want you guys to see what actually happened on Hawkeye's journey. Okay, so you have, this is all energy, right? So you have Orisha, who's anchoring the Olmec energy. All right, you have Hawkeye, who's anchoring the DNA. Remember, Hawkeye said he was connecting to the CERN Hadron Collider. Okay, so you got right here, you got the Hadron Collider and the Olmec calendar. Okay, next step.
Oh, you cracking now. Go ahead.
I'm this galactic-y, okay? I know all the ancient sites. I'm literally this is what I do. This is what I do. So then he went up the steps.
Hold
right?
on, show the video you sent me. I'm gonna send it to you real quick. Hold on. So
I was gonna say, can we go do the video? Yeah.
But recently, the diagram caught the attention of a scientist from Northrop Grumman, who specializes in the development of advanced weapons for the military.
He said, I design particle beam weapons for a living, for the government. Do you realize that that's a blueprint for a particle accelerator? I went and compared the diagram of Mount Meru with an illustration of what's called a cyclotron, an atom smasher, which was used in the development of the A-bomb for the Manhattan Project. They're a perfect match for one another.
Orlstein's diagram of Mount Meru that he found seemed to show Mount Meru as some kind of particle beam accelerator or some device that was stacked up, had different lenses. It would have made it into some device that focused energy. The kind of energy needed would have required some tremendous power plant, something putting out enormous amounts of energy.
Might the nearly 2,000-year-old Buddhist diagram of Mount Meru actually depict a device that today would run on nuclear power?
Mongolian myth says that these celestial beings dwelled around Meru because of the energy that was emitted from it. It was a transmitter of this cosmic power that fed these celestial beings or kept them alive.
Whatever the purpose of this device was, it would have required some extremely powerful energy source, some type of nuclear power. And I think that power might have come from Mount Kailash. This wasn't a place that actually put out spiritual energy, but what we're talking about is a place that produced raw energy, technological energy. Potentially, we're talking about a power plant.
Yes. So that is what he went through, right? Because it's literally our energy. And we're able to use this energy because you got to remember that the ancient sites are portals, right? They're just mimicking our own shit. That's all they doing. And so with CERN actually shutting down, it cleared up because remember, it was harnessing energy, right? It was harnessing the energy. So with that being shut down, we're supposed to be manifesting like this. This is why the solar flares have been going crazy. When we got the flare that caused the Schumann to go up to 70 degrees, I actually threw up. I felt that light enter me and I threw up. And what I want to bring this full circle to is that this is how much we're supposed to be anchored in our energy. We're supposed to be living this shit every day. We're all supposed to be operating multidimensionally, right? Because what's happening is when you hear the angelic voices and then when you hear the fallen angelic voices, motherfuckers can't figure out who is who, right? So all you know is that you're hearing the voices, but you don't know who is who because you haven't cleared out your distortion. And this is what happens when you do the plant medicine because your energetic biosystem and your auric field is expanded. Exactly everything how young elders said it. Your auric field and your energy field is actually expanding and you're able to anchor in more light, right? You're learning your intuition, right? You're listening to your oversoul. You have more angelic realm for them to talk to you. And this is how we're supposed to operate every day. You know how many demons I freaking walk into every fucking day? And I gotta send their ass to the underworld? I be laughing though, because when I see young elder, he be like, we gonna cast them out. And I'm like, yes, cast them to the underworld. Yes.
Hey, right in the crack. I
Right
kick
in
a
the
gene
crack.
right in the crack of his ass. Y'all funny, man. Right back
This
to
is
on the
the
dog.
thing though. All of us are supposed to be soul retrievers. We're supposed to be able to operate and see who these motherfuckers are. And we're supposed to be the fly on the wall as the observer. We just supposed to sit back. I swear to God, y'all, I be going places. I just be sitting back looking at everybody. I know who's supposed to get an upgrade. I know who's supposed to be going down. You feel me? Like literally, this is how in tune you have to be with your energy and with the dark energy, because we be having to step into that energy. We have to use, we are supposed to be the black dot that you get from the plant medicine. We're supposed to be walking the black dot every day. We're supposed to be the black dot. We're supposed to be that energy. We're supposed to, our Merkabas and our holographic field is supposed to be so clear. We can distinguish who is who, right? We can see, okay, I see what time they on. I see what time they on. We're supposed to be able to read the vibrations of everybody that is in front of us as a nine ether being. We're supposed to, the Marvel energy, we didn't even get to play it. We'll play it on another
Hey, you
session.
remember Lucy? You remember Lucy when
Yes,
she got to a
I
certain
have
point, she
that.
could see
My
the lines
shit is
coming from
off.
their head, the frequencies. Yeah.
Yes, my Lucy, where I'm able, they'll tell me too. They'll be like, okay, we're gonna, when I know when I'm bending energy, I know when I'm bending energy. My because I was born in 1984, right? It was a critical year. My 48, and I know as Sekhmet, as me, I anchor people's DNA. I know when I'm places and I gotta, okay, I'm in their root chakra. Okay, I'm in the, I know because this is part of my angelic gift, right? This is part of my celestial gift. I have to go outside as me, and I have to give and serve this angelic energy. But listen, it is rough because the 3D is rough, and everybody who's on this show right now needs to be anchoring this energy, because we're literally, you know what time it is. It's about to go crazy out. You know it's about to be a crazy ass next 3 years. We know it. The shit is getting terrible out there. The chaos is terrible. And I need other people like me, because we literally are, we're the warriors. We're the light warriors. Listen, I just need help. I need everybody, we're all spread out, but I need everybody that they need to tune into their gifts, because we are the nine ether beings. Y'all, we're supposed to be fucking wealthy. We are wealthy. We're wealthy. And I hate that I have to see this, because I want us all to win. You feel me? I want us all to win. I want us all to be millionaires. Right? But it takes all of us, how we were speaking, has been doing the work. We've been doing the work. We've been doing the work to anchor in the light.
One thing I say is, I always say we got to focus on what we do. Hold on one second. Yeah, we always got to focus on what we doing and focus on like-minded people, that what we got going on. You know what I'm saying? If they ain't doing the work, that's fine. I don't be trying to convince nobody of nothing, because that power that we talking about, all these different travels is coming together. All the experience that Goddess Mayat got a young elder got, Hawkeye got. We're bringing that information together. Hawk, you had something before we get out of here, Chief?
Yeah, that was a nice comment that you just made about bringing all this power and experience together. I just want to tell a story real quick about that. This realization I had during this session. Now, Atari mentioned earlier about our ceremony caused an earthquake. Now, Goddess Mayat could testify to, when I talked to her and told her about this story, I told her I wanted to shake the ground. And I just found out that we shook the ground even before I said it. But my intentions were apparently known before I even went in.
I see.
Now, this is what I'm talking about. Everything is in sync and in line. Yeah.
And one more thing, Atari. When you said you want to see everybody wealthy, that's that mother energy in you. That's that love energy in you. But one thing about it, when you look at the ancient Kemet, right? Everybody couldn't read the hieroglyphics. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Everybody wasn't a high priest. Everybody wasn't the royal bloodline. We have to worry about the royal bloodline. You said removing the poverty consciousness, and that's a very noble and charitable thing to do. But we already talking about to the people that already know luxury is our true culture. You know what I'm saying? We've always been drifting in these precious metals, gold, silver, copper, these precious gemstones. We've always been connected with the stars and these stones and our ancestors in general in this plant medicine. So like you said, live it every day. I most definitely believe what you just said. But like one thing about it, everybody ain't gonna get it. They're not like us. You know what I'm saying? What they be saying over there, they're not like us. Shit, everybody don't read the hieroglyphics on the wall, just the chosen few. So hey, did we how we do tonight, man? Look, I had to bring the tribe. You say we gotta keep pushing to the next level every time. How you feel about tonight?
Oh yeah, we gotta come back, man, and do this one again because we getting in, especially when we talking about because I know for a fact that they lying about how advanced we were. Even if you study the one world Tartessian Empire, how they had all that energy, then all of a sudden when the Tamahus come over, they start blowing and burning all of our energy centers down. So I know for a fact that that we was way more advanced and older than what they telling us. That's part of the gaslighting that they've been doing. I know we had because some of them mounds look like landing pads, like you can land helicopters on them. And even when you go study the Bible and they talk about the whale, I think these Almacs had submarines. They had like they say the Stargate information. I believe they was in contact with other off-world beings. I believe they was even traveling to Mars. These Almacs, they had the technology to go to Mars. So they definitely trying to leave us in a room full of smoke when they try to make, oh, y'all ain't nothing but some sorry slaves from Africa. That's all they try to leave us on. But we were way more sophisticated and way more advanced than they can ever. They still trying to figure out how we built the pyramids. You know what I'm saying? So just that one thing. And then that shit was even some kind of high level technology with limestone and shit, with water and magnetic energy going under of it. It was, I believe there was some kind of power station. Because look, they show a movie in the Stargate where these ships come in and they land on top of the pyramid to refuel. And still to this day, I got videos of UFOs pulling over the pyramid right now. The pyramids in Egypt and the pyramids down in South America, and they charging their ship off some kind of electric energy. So I believe that shit is still in power. But they want to lie to us and keep us in a room full of smoke, like I say, and have us thinking that we was nobody. You know what I'm saying? That we was already just, you know, they came and enslaved us. It's just all a lie, man.
That video,
yeah.
It just showed that's the Olmec calendar. That's a matriarch calendar. That goes into that same thing when you always talk about it. The calendar of Dendera, or is it Dendera?
Mm-hmm.
The Dendera calendar, that's right.
These are matriarch calendars. They go way past what we're talking about. They talk about the pyramids, but they don't want to talk about the Sphinx and how old the Sphinx is, what the Sphinx really represents. They talk about they the original Egyptians, but they didn't know nothing was up under the pyramid. But damn, Richard Pryor been broke that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these things they make into a joke. I see now on the Daily Show they making all this sound like a joke, all that, because it's to deter you from this information. You had Malachi New York building pyramids all throughout Georgia on ley lines, and guess what they did? They ran through it and they put a highway right through that ground right now. I don't care about the messenger. I'm talking about the message. I'm talking about what he did. You see what I'm saying? So, and bro, each one of these things that you talking about, I'm telling you, if we start doing this plant medicine on top of these activation portals, we went to that pyramid, and the first thing the park ranger said was, "There's a stone inside this pyramid that we can't use our they call it sonar to look inside of it." I know y'all full of shit because y'all excavate everything else. They dig everything else up. Why wouldn't you dig up what's in Florida? Because they're showing you that dude I just showed you, Palenque. Now going back to Palenque, he's the one that built that when they were talking about that collider, they were talking about over. Did you hear how the mind fuck was? They kept talking about over there in India and everything else, talking about the energy conductor over there, but the mass they were showing you was right there in Mesoamerica. Even look, you see how quick we were listening to the white man, but he threw that little monkey wrench in there real quick. You see what I'm saying? All that shit is something that this man right here built, and they show you on the temple walls what he really looked like. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when we talk about,
they look like Quetzalcoatl.
No, they ain't Quetzalcoatl. No, he ain't that. He ain't that. You know what I'm saying? He ain't that blessed. He all right though. He a great scientist and philosopher. That's Pakal. From the land of Palenque, Jaguar clan. He's Jaguar clan. Quetzalcoatl is Dragon Serpent clan. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man. All this comes together, man. And when we start paying attention to it and really activating this energy, but yeah, let me move around real quick. Goddess Mayat, what do you got coming up, and how can we support you, Goddess?
Yeah, so we have in the fall we do our melanin frequency convergence. That's coming up in on the equinox, and we do a lot of this kind of work, right? What we're talking about. We've been transmitting a frequency since 2019, and we go around and we have these events every on the solstice and the equinox. We have a whole frequency that we have our priesthood has been generating since 2019. And I love this. One of the things I wanted to say is like we're closing out the year of unity in this, right? So we're in a year where we are doing 52 acts of unity. And I think that's one of the things that's missing because see, we're sitting here, we're talking about all this power, all of these ancient powers, cosmic, celestial, wherever you hail from, right? um and one of the things that I think that we're missing is the unity, right? Because everybody, until just recently, a lot of us have been doing this work and we think we're the only ones doing it. We think that we're alone. But really, I love this, and I have to commend Arisha Stone because he is a great connector of this information. I know Young Elder also, I don't know as much about you as I know about Arisha Stone, but you guys are great connectors of people and bringing this unity back together because truly we are all connected. You can't be from source and not be source as one. We are all connected, just like the trees are connected under the ground. We have our own mycelium network of source. And so when we come together in this unity, because that's what broke us up, we became tribal, right? So everybody in this tribe, that tribe, or whatever, and it's been a war. That's the war of consciousness, conflict, lack, all of it comes fear, danger, deficit. All of it comes from the same thing. But when we start unifying it, I definitely commend you guys for bringing us all together and hearing about all of these different works. I know, and just hearing everybody and what they've been doing and how they've been doing it. And what it does is it's going to bring a bunch of people together that know what they got to do on this planet, right? And in the ethers, and in the subatomic realm, and in the cosmos, because we made matter,
I see.
right? So we don't need to be afraid of no matter or matters because we come from source. We are source beings. That is, and we can't help but to do that. But now this time around, right, we have to come together in a different way. We don't need to be at war with nobody and nothing because it can't nothing touch us anyway, right? It ain't no equal level. It's primary and secondary. All that shit is secondary. We primary. And we here now. And so anyway, I'm going on another subject. But yes, just we at melanatedimmortals.com. You can just go to the website and find out a lot about us. But I do definitely, it's been an honor to be on this panel with all of you. I really appreciate it. I had so much fun and enjoyed hearing everything. And thank you for having me.
Man, thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. And also, I see that artifact in the background. Hawkeye and a couple of the tribe. We always try to get those artifacts because those are the evidence of who we are. You know what I'm saying? The ancestors left everything, the truth written in stone. So we go out there and get those artifacts, and it lead right back into everything she said. The mycelium network. It would feed right back into ancestor work, sitting down, talking to the ancestors while you on this plant medicine. It feed into all of that. So all of this work is necessary. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Atari reading the stars, Goddess Mayat helping you with your galactic kin numbers, Young Elder putting out this information as the Minister of Education, Hawkeye, Atari. Before we get out of here, how can we support you? And where can we find you at, guys? What you got coming up?
Okay, so next coming up, me and Arisha already talked about it. We gonna do a class on DNA. I'm gonna go deeper into the DNA and the double helix and epigenetics. And I'm kind of gonna use myself. So I do have my master's degree in social work, and I have a bachelor's in healthcare administration. I'm laughing because I never talk about this. So I have a lot of education in epigenetics and trauma-informed root chakra work because of part of the DNA clearing that I do for people. And I want people to see, like, I keep my picture right here, y'all. This is my baby picture. Because you literally have to think back to the time that you entered, and you have to recover all that trauma. Everything that everybody's been saying today, right? You literally have to recover all that trauma. When you free up the trauma, that's how the DNA comes in, right? Because you're getting clear, you're clearing out, and your new DNA is coming in. So I want to go into epigenetics and actual this and more deeper into the actual spiritual gifts. So that's gonna be next. Further in the future, you know, I'll be in LA. Sending all my love to my Khalifas out here in Cali. And just follow me on Instagram, follow me on YouTube, because the quantum activations that I do, I post everything, I decode stuff. That's my job. Peace and blessings, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
I love the fact that Goddess Mayat and you both said the same thing. Young Elder said the same thing too when he was bringing up Lucy. We forgot that part in the movie when she said she called her mama when she knew she was going to ascend into all the ether. She called her mama. She said, I can remember when I was in the womb. I can remember drinking milk from your breast. I can remember going back to the great mother. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part in DMT part that we always forget. We're going back to that great mother energy. You know what I'm saying? And we got to approach it with respect too. You know what I'm saying? Respect to the Monte. Yo, Hawkeye, what you got before we get out of here, Chief? You on mute, God.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to add a quick story to what Young Elder said just a second ago about people telling us that we're not advanced. We just talked about shaking the earth, and we talked about Mexico. I just saw somebody in the comments that said there was an earthquake in Texas just a couple of days ago. So I just want to say that we are powerful. We are advanced. All we need to do is access it. All we have to do is put in the work to access it. So I just definitely want us to understand where we are, who we are, and the power that we do have, and it is real, for sure, for sure.
I appreciate that, God, man. There's a lot of people that talk about it, and then there's other people that go out there and touch those ley lines. Right now, we got three of the best people that out here touching ley lines and out there trying to go talk to these spirits. These spirits ain't been talked to in a long time. We got Goddess Mayat. She's doing ceremonies. We got Hawkeye in Texas doing his ceremonies. We got Goddess Khalifa Atari in California doing ceremonies. Now look up ley lines and look up the root chakra of the earth right over there where Atari sits. You know what I'm saying? So once we start doing the real research and get out this mind frame that we know everything and oh yeah, me, I, and start thinking about we, and flip everything. If everything went flip, then flip that me too and flip it into a we. Your elder.
Can I say something real quick?
Well,
if you don't know where to start, okay, if you don't know where to start, you can literally, if I need energy from these sites because I can't get there, just watch Ancient Aliens. Just watch Ancient Aliens. And it's a quantum field. You're connecting with the energy. I have got responses watching Ancient Aliens from the land. Okay? Just connect with the energy of the ancient sites. Listen to it. Now, some of the stuff, you know, sometimes they say stuff, but they literally say these are the gods. Yeah, that's fucking us. Everything they talking about is us.
And the only reason I don't promote them is because one, yeah, they be saying they always gonna hide some truth with the fiction. You know, behind every lie lies some truth, and you got to, you know what I'm saying?
But we know how to determine which is a lie and which is the truth because our vibration is higher.
Now I'll say this though, you ain't even got to tap into them. We got else been talking about this for else. We don't want to get the credit. We want to go.
But you need to see it in your eyeballs. That's my point. I'm telling you, you need to see the land in your eyeballs because the land speaks to you. I'm telling you from the feminine perspective. You need to see it in your eyeballs. That's how you get the vision. It's fucking portals. Then the shit go to your subconscious and to your oversoul. Boom, you activate it.
Here it is.
Can I add to that too? Let me add to that because you got me activated on that one, Goddess Atari. Every woman has the ley line. Dr. Jewel used to talk about this all the time. Every woman has the ley lines of the earth in her uterus. The epidermal layer of the uterus has ley lines. I used to teach classes where I would have the women go into the ley lines of their uterus, and you will wind up outside somewhere under a tree, maybe even deeper down in the earth, right? They say it's crystal, but there's something beyond the crystals, right? And so you can go into that just going into your own body, right? Now, if the women have it in their the epidermal layer, I suppose the men could do it too by going into the that layer in the prostate. It's just that the prostate is a different, it's not activated
That's
like the
the root
women, but
chakra.
everybody can do it directly. You could do it directly.
It's
And
what you're saying
go
is
ahead.
activating the Earth Star chakra. Because you're connecting that energy to your Earth Star chakra. I'm gonna go into it in the DNA class, y'all. But you're
Mhm.
activating your Earth Star chakra.
Yep. And you can go right outside of your own house and be in the earth, and you'll have a communication with them. I'm gonna say them. And they'll start telling you what that your location needs, right? What that particular location, what it needs, and how you can assist by just using your uterus.
Hey, somebody
And
has a
then go ahead. Mm-hmm.
question. I don't want to go past that one, and I don't want to touch that one. But there's a lot
What
of
if they have fibroids?
yeah.
So
Would you say got it?
I'll talk about the fibroids. Yeah. The fibroids are just miscommunication, right? That is an incomplete creation is what a fibroid is. And it usually comes, of course, we know, and many of the teachers, I'm not the first person to say this or whatever, those who have come before me and have been my teachers already talk about how that's, pent up anger, because what? It's like a fist. It's a fibroid, right? It's a fist. So it's a mass. It's matter. It got, hair and bones and teeth and all of that stuff in it. It is an incomplete creation. And so even if you have fibroids, we do something, we teach, I teach womb evolution. I've been doing it for 10 years now, right? In there, we learn how to do something called a uterine ping, right? Many women have used this uterine ping to remove those fibroids. And this is a ping. This is not you having a connection with the vagina. Oh, here she goes. I knew she popped up. Right. This is not a connection with the vagina, because the vagina is flexible. It has the bones in it. It moves, right? But the uterus, you having a mental connection with your uterus, which it's a representation of the universe. It's a representation of the cosmos. And if the earth is in the cosmos, is in the solar system, right? And so when you can have your uterus, I call it a ping, right? Like a computer, like, right? You know how you send a ping to the computer to see if the server is still working? We do the same thing in the womb, right? And so when you can have that one-on-one connection, you literally have a one-on-one connection with the physical, your uterus. It sounds the same. I learned this from my teacher. Uterus, universe, utterance, right? Because they say creation was started with the utterance, right? That's why you see in the Kemetic, it got cows and they got udders, right? So the uterus is the same thing. It's the physical universe. As we talking about how we started the conversation, talking about abundance. If you are male and you accessing a universe, oh shoot, should nobody be broke, right? And if you are you are female and you have a uterus, should nobody be broke. Now, there's a whole lot of other stuff that's connected to that and why we're experiencing that thing. I'm just saying that in general, right? But that whole thing, if you can have because the uterus sits on if you take the back of the brain, and the uterus is sitting on a neural net from the brain, right? And it's not just from the brain down, it's from the uterus up. when you are pregnant and you're nursing, that connection, the uterus is what tells the brain to produce the milk, right? When you have an orgasm, that comes from the uterus up into the brain, then back down, right? And so this is not just a one-way street. We have the uterus, we sitting on this thing and we not using it. You can meditate from the uterus, right? A lot of times you want to meditate from here, meditate from down there, because that's your producing organ, right? It what produces everything that you think about in the heavens got to come down to earth. And we think that, we don't want to use that because we call it lower. I call it slower, right? Because it has to produce in 3D. Right. And then even if we come together in union, you got a male and female, and we think in the same way, and we come together like that. Oh my God.
Power.
You can produce anything. So, but we can use our producing organs to do just about anything we want to do on this planet. We designed ourselves, we designed our avatars to be the walking cosmos. Everything about us, we can find there is a one-to-one match with what we see in the cosmos. And so, anyway, so y'all got me going when y'all start talking about that, but maybe on the next show.
Next show.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do it again because Mama Kali hit us up. She wanted to be a part tonight. We most definitely gonna get the guys that have been doing this for a while on and go deeper into that overmind, into that motherboard.
Yeah. Motherboard, yes.
Hey, if you want to subscribe to Atari Elohim's YouTube page, we got that in the links. If you had subscribed, be sure to go subscribe. Also, if you had subscribed to Orisha channel, be sure to go subscribe. We got both of those in the links, and Instagram and TikTok, I think, in the links. Also, go check out melanatedimmortals.com. You got to go check that out, man. And hey, if what's the brother Hawkeye? Do you got any links and stuff?
No.
Okay.
Not at this time. But all I ask from the beginning is y'all keep vibing with the tribe, keep rolling through, come back. We can talk about these experiences that we're having, this activation. I'm always here doing work in the background. So I'm always here, but I don't have a particular link. But you can, if you really want to contact me, you can get in touch with Arisha Stone and we can handle whatever needs to be handled. But just keep vibing with the tribe. We building over here. It's lovely. I love it.
I say.
Yeah.
Brick after brick.
Appreciate all the work each and every one of you do.
I say. And man, we talking about chakras all night. And y'all been working my thumb chakra all night, man. Y'all work y'all thumb chakra. Hit that like button, man. Yo, young elder, take us about here, man.
Hey man, peace and love to the tribe. Send divine love to all the goddesses and matriarchs on the land, right? We want to free the three chiefs, Dr. Malachi Z. York, Larry Hoover, and Jeff Ford, right? Let the three kings walk, man. We send divine love and peace throughout the boundless universe to all. Wadu.